I don't like that. I don't like this fucking sleeve getting in the way. There we go. All right, so yeah, it's the day after the mega match, a Joghba versus Shaw, a titillating fight that left us all on the edge of our seats. An amazing fight, a legendary fight that our children and their children after them, they're going to be talking about for a very long time. Hard to take your eyes off the screen. Was Goody Hot King? Yeah, I mean, and all jokes aside, I saw a lot of people being very hard on F.A. Joghba, who I call El Jefe Joghba. One thing I like about this heavyweight was Goody Gary, was Goody Westside, was Goody Old Dirty Jump Tube, what it do, Jack, what it do. One thing I like about that particular heavyweight that seems to be consistent with how he's moved is that he's willing to do what he has to do to take fights. And I think that flies largely under the radar due to what many describe as underwhelming performances. Was Goody Michael that, you can say that he doesn't have wow factor or that he's limited. You can say that because there's a precedence to say that. But at the same time, remember, what we criticize a lot of other fighters for not doing, what we criticize a lot of other fighters for not bringing into fruition, he did do that. He used to be on the PBC. I think people tend to forget that he used to be over there at the PBC, and he crossed over to Top Rank, where we want other fighters to do what they have to do to make certain fights possible. He literally did that. He went from the PBC over to Top Rank, and you know what? I think that puts him closer to big fights and important fights and interesting fights than if he would have just sat there like a lump with the PBC. Consider that Frankie Sanchez is over there, and consider that it's been over a year since Frankie Sanchez beat F.A. Consider that, and consider that the PBC's not doing anything with that fighter. They're not doing anything. What's going to happen to Frankie Sanchez? You got a career best win over an unbeaten heavyweight like yourself, and what did they do after that for you? Whereas F.A., because he's over there at Top Rank, at least it's possible that you get a Joghba versus Dubois, or a Joghba versus Joyce, or a Joghba versus Makhmudov, a Joghba versus any number of heavyweights that, they're not with necessarily Top Rank per se, but they're out there. And those fights are actually more possible because he left the PBC, because if he was still over there now, he wouldn't be fighting anybody or anything. So, I kind of got a soft spot for that guy, even though he's not the most exciting heavyweight. There's not exactly a proliferation of exciting heavyweights. Even though he's not the most exciting guy, he did what he had to do to make fights happen. And if nothing else, you can see that there's a willingness there to make fights happen because he left the PBC, because he was willing to fight Frankie Sanchez, because he was willing to fight Oscar Rivas, who eventually became Stephen Shaw. At least we could say that, hey, the guy's trying, the guy's trying. So, I got a soft spot for F.A. There's a lot of mixed reviews about the performance. It wasn't titillating, I will admit. It wasn't a very exciting performance. What I took away from it is that he has a very good jab, that he keeps the jab working, which it is important, but he does seem limited to the jab right hand. He does seem limited to the straight 1-2. And outside of that, he doesn't show a lot of variety to make other things happen in a fight, use other punches, or get the guy out of there. But he does have a very good jab, He has a good jab. He's got good feet. He managed the distance well, even if it was a safety-first fight. He did manage the distance well. During yesterday's live, we talked about what a Joghba versus Dubois fight might look like, or a Joghba versus Joyce. And, I don't see a guy in F.A. that anybody could beat. You have to have certain other layers, certain other skills. I think he can beat a Daniel Dubois. I think he can beat a guy like that. And given his height and length, I think he can beat a few guys, Was Goody Old Dirty? Was Goody Avo? So, I don't think it's that. I don't think F.A. is as bad as people. The relay video is narrated by one person or two. It sounds like two people to me. It's actually two people. It's me and my split personality. One of them, I make him sound like Jerry Springer, like a news anchor, and the other one is me. It's actually two people in one brain, split personality. And yeah, there's still a lot of talk about the Spence stuff, the Thurman stuff. Tim Bradley made his feelings known yesterday about Errol Spence Jr. And it's like, it's obvious, man. If you just can't see what's going on for what it is, it's because you don't want to. It's because you want to keep apologizing for it. And the bottom line is that when they do that fight, that Thurman fight, if it does happen in April, I mean, like, come on, dog. Like, who you think gonna buy that? Who you really think hype for that? Maybe a couple of guys in Texas, but nobody checking for Keith Thurman. You know what I mean? We had a very good debate yesterday about weight bullying in the sport. Chaim is of the opinion that if a fighter rehydrates to a certain weight the night of, shout out to Chaim, I appreciated his contrasting view because that's always refreshing to hear a different take. We don't want to all just agree with each other all the time. That's not interesting. And he had a very provocative view of what he characterizes as weight bullying. And I definitely understand what he meant, that some guys, they're really not that good. And what they do is mostly because of the size that they have. And if you remove that size, there's not much left. There's definitely an argument there. And we had that argument yesterday. A very interesting argument. What's the word, Jules? The split voiceovers is what got, oh yeah, like, I'll do one part of it, right? Like, I'll use like a job interview voice, right? You know what I'm talking about, the high pitch one. I'll use like a job interview voice, right? And I'll read the story and do most of the dialogue in that voice, and you'll hear ad libs. You'll hear like ad libs, which is basically what I'm thinking. What I'm thinking on top of what I'm thinking, that I'll add some shit. Like I'll say like, yeah, he's not a very good fighter, and they'll say, no, he isn't. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like how the thoughts present themselves in my brain, which is why I layer it that way. It's kind of like what you do with a song when you're recording a song. You'll have the main vocal, the stack, and then you'll have the ad libs, the yeah, fuck yeah, and all the extra shit. So it makes the listener able to sit down and absorb the information and digest it in a very easy way, whether they're aware of it or not. That it's kind of like listening to a song, that when you present it that way, as opposed to me just sitting here, it's a little bit more entertaining, and you can get more information out faster if you do it that way. So you get the story, you get my thoughts on the story, and a little bit of comic relief. So that's why I do it that way. Bro, the voice is 26. Oh yeah, no, because it was a work in progress, bro. It was a work in progress. Like, I was still, at first it sounded like Joe Pesci, so I would try to like ham it up, like to make it sound more like Joe Pesci. But then, I thought about it, and I tweak it at times. Like, I do tweak it at times. Nah, I like the nerd voice. I like that one a little better, because then that makes the ad lib, the main voice with the ad lib, the fact that they're different, the contrast, make the ad lib stand out more. So, but yeah, yo, appreciate that, young Brando. And yeah, like, I'm not hard on FA, but I'm not hard on FA because I believe he did what he had to do to make certain things happen. And I believe that even if he's not the best heavyweight, somebody tell me who is. You see what I mean? That he's limited. I'm not disagreeing with y'all, but so is Arslanbek Makhmudov. So is Frankie Sanchez. I'm not going to crucify him for being boring when Frankie is way more boring. Way more boring. Top Rank doing good. Loma versus Devin, Usyk versus Fury. Top Rank is doing very good. I saw a post that said that real boxing fans should want all the promotional outfits to do well, quote unquote, real boxing fans. I disagree with that, because if the PBC is doing well and everything is going according to plan, at least for them, we won't get the fights that we want. It takes for them to be doing bad for something to change because something needs to change. There's been a big emphasis on influencer boxing, which I don't watch. I don't really watch that stuff. I don't have nothing against it, but I don't watch it. You know, there was a card yesterday, and I like that this is there. I like that there's influencer boxing because that will show the real boxers. They're like, look, you ain't too famous to bite the bullet. Eventually, the real boxers are going to get it. You're not them. They come into the sport with a following already, whereas you try to amass a following as you progress. It's very different. It's almost backwards that those kids, they already got like 500,000 whatever subscribers or 500,000 followers or 1 million followers. So they already ahead of the curve, even though they really can't fight. They ahead of the curve. Whereas y'all can fight, but you ain't got followers like that. And looking at them, it's kind of like what'll make it click. They're like, yo, dog, you got to do what people want you to do. You may not like it, but yes, you have to fight in the fights that people want you to fight. It ain't that you too good or you too this or you too... No, it don't work like that. Everything in business is based on the principle of supply and demand, and you are either supplying what the people are demanding or you're not. Where those kids are ahead of the curve is that they are supplying what their audience wants. They are supplying what their audience is demanding. You might not be. So that's why they getting money that you might not be getting, even if you think you deserve it more. In reality, deserve is a 4-letter word in boxing. It's what you could generate, what you can negotiate. But deserve, I don't know about no deserve. I don't know about that shit. Vinny Del Vecchio voiced. Oh, snap. That's old school. That's old school. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to open up the chat to the panel. And I advise gentlemen, if you're listening, I get a lot of complaints when 3, 4, 5, 6 guys try to tell a joke at the same time. If you hear somebody talking, don't come in the middle trying to say something. I get a lot of complaints about that. If you hear somebody talking, matter of fact, I see my man Coach Malachi right there. The link is for Coach Malachi. It's for Coach Malachi. Right? You know what I mean? And this Spence thing, man, like I heard this Spence thing, the Spence-Thurman fight is creating a lot of ripples and a lot of waves. I heard, you know, that there was a lot of people that are mad at Nestor Gibbs. They're mad that he was basically clowning the Spence fans last week. So what they did was they pulled up some court documents and they tried to like, Avo, I said it's for Malachi. Bang, there go the coach. Coach, what it do?
Hey, Jules, what's going on, fam? Talk to me.
I mean, like this Spence and Thurman thing, man. Like it's everywhere, and it's not getting us anywhere, bro. like there's people basically, you know, they want to apologize for Errol fighting this guy, and they want to say, "Oh, well, look at who Bud fought, bro. If you free to fight, why are you not fighting Crawford? You free to fight, right? If the WBC and the IBF and all them is giving you a pass to go to 154 with no belts at all, if they're giving you a pass to do that, then naturally they would give you a pass to unify with Crawford. But this is what you're doing. And it's not because it's a mandatory. No, that's just the cover story. It's not because it's a mandatory, because if it was about that, then it wouldn't be at 154 if it was about mandatories, right? So it's like, yo, man, what do you see the end game being? If Errol beats Thurman in April, what does he do after that, Coach?
I'm not gonna lie, man. I mean, it's really nothing. The way I see it, there's not a big thing to be outraged about. The sanctioning bodies is Mauricio Suleiman. They do what they want to do, how they do want to do it, when they want to do it. Sanctioning bodies are pretty much controlled by the power brokers in boxing, whether that be financial advisors, whether that be promoters, and that's just what it is. I didn't get a chance to see the interview with with Mauricio Suleiman on the Boxing Voice. I wanted to look at that. From what I'm hearing, he's saying that um, Spence satisfies his mandatory by fighting Keith Thurman at 154 pounds, even though the mandatory was mandated at 147 pounds. So if that's the case, that tells me that, hey man, this is, they alter their rules on the fly, however they want to do it, when they want to do it, based on, who's controlling them, which in this case will probably be Al Heyman and the PBC. Mm-hmm. So Crawford and Spence are not going to fight each other. That fight was never going to happen. I had to go back and look at some old videos back from 2018, and Spence told the truth then at that time. I remember when all of the, the smear campaign went on about Crawford's resume, this and that, wrong side of the street. He ain't fought nobody. I fought old Campo. Old Campo was better than anybody he fought, this and that. That was in September 2000. That was in September 2018. And then 2 months later, November 2018, that's when they had the famous, when they coincidentally ran across each other in the back of the arena. I think of the Mo Hooker fight. Mm-hmm. When they ran across each other with Bob Aaron was back there, and Crawford Spence was like bet $1 million and all this stuff there. They came face to face, and Spence said that, hey, Al Heyman told me who I was fighting. I already got my fights lined up already. Go back to that video. He said, I'm gonna fight Mikey, then I'm gonna fight Mikey, then I'm gonna fight Porter. He said, then I may fight Pacquiao. And then he said he did say Thurman. He said Thurman. So if you look at who he has fought since 2018, he's fought Thurman. I mean, he's in the process of fighting Thurman. He fought Sean Porter. He fought Mikey. He would have fought Benny Pacquiao had not he got his eye detached. Detached in sparring. So in 2018, they told you 5 years ago what the play was, and 5 years later, that play and plan is still in play. So that tells me everything I need to know.
And I think what they didn't anticipate, which I'm in complete agreement with everything you said. I think what they didn't anticipate was the car accident, which kept Errol out for most of a year. So that delayed the plan by at least a year. The pandemic certainly didn't help anything either, irrespective of the car accident, just what the pandemic did to boxing and everything, basically. That didn't help. And then him sitting out all of 2021. So that's 2 years. That the plan, what was the 4-fight plan, is now delayed by 2 years because they didn't anticipate that he would get into a car accident or that he would suffer a retina injury when they made that plan. But you are right that is what he said. Those are the people that he fought. That's the pecking order that they gave him. And that's essentially what he did. Now, because the fight is at junior middleweight, why do you believe it's at 154? Why 154 and not 147?
It could be a couple of things. One, I think he can't make that weight anymore. But it could be a couple of things. Again, Mauricio Suleiman is playing a big part in this as well. So, it's a way that he's not fighting Crawford. So it's not to avoid Crawford. That's not happening. Crawford would probably never fight another PBC fighter again like he did when he was at 135 and 140. So Crawford is out of the loop. He can forget that. That's not happening. But 154, maybe because he can't make that weight. Maybe he can't make the weight anymore. Then you got to understand, Spence is not the most disciplined fighter in the world in between fights. Between accidents, the alcohol, his lifestyle does not dictate, will not allow him to, make 147 pounds anymore. So they're just, making it easier for him. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, that's just reality to the situation. Everybody got to move on.
But basically, you do feel that because the way it looks, if we take our contrasting views and we put them in sequence, what it looks like to me is that you're right. They didn't lie about who he was going to fight. The issue is that plan was delayed. Country is just me and Coach right now, bro. It looks like it was delayed by outlying factors like the car accident and like the retina injury. And because of that, he's outgrown welterweight basically. So now, and I'm in agreement. I don't think he can make 147. I don't think he's ever going to make it again, to be honest. I've been saying, most of what I've said, that this is all what I thought. I never thought they were going to fight. Irrespective of why, there's going to be a blame game. There's going to be a smear campaign. There are going to be people pointing fingers. But we're not going to get a fight. We're not. And that's where we're at, Now.
Well, you're right. Jules, you're right. That's the bottom line. The fact of the matter is, you team Spence, Crawford is a Doug. He's this, he's that, yada, 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 yada. If your team Spence, Spence doesn't lie. He doesn't do anything wrong. The Al Heyman is God. We pray worship to him. Anybody outside of the PBC, Spence, Al Heyman, is liars, and that's what it is. So I get that. So we know that crowd. And then if you're for Crawford, you may have some zealots that feel the same way. Then you have people like me, yourself, like, look, this fight was never going to happen in the first place. I've shot a video where you said this from day one, it's never going to happen. I shot a video in 2021, several videos saying that fight ain't going to happen, because that's not the PBC way. That's not how they do business. You can say, well, they made the Wilder what's the name, Fury fight. I said, yeah, they made that, but I mean that comes far and few. But again, at 135 pounds and 140 pounds, Crawford has fought several PBC fighters.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have to explain to me how come he was able to fight several PBC fighters at the lighter weights, but as soon as he comes to the welterweight division, everything changes.
And it was the expendable ones. It's not that the PBC never sent anyone out. They actually did on more than one occasion. But those were circumstances. Look at the circumstances of Marcus Brown. Well, the PBC had no one for him to fight. It's not like they had a choice. If you want to fight for a title, you got to go somewhere else, because they had no light heavyweights for him to fight. So he didn't have a choice. With Felix Diaz, the Dominican, Felix Diaz, for those that don't know, he won a gold medal in the Olympics, Dominican Olympian. He was a good fighter, very good fighter. But for Felix, well, the PBC wasn't doing nothing with him. So, yeah, they sent him out because they didn't want to put him in there with their Danny Garcia, with their Keith Thurman, the guys that they're actually invested in. They didn't want to put him in there with them. So, the guy said he wants Crawford. Okay, go get him, because they weren't invested in him. If you think about Andy Ruiz, it was a similar situation. They had just signed Andy Ruiz, but they putting him in there with who, bro? Who was a priority? They had just signed him. He didn't become a factor until after the Joshua fight. It's not like they were doing anything with him. So it's not that the PBC never sent anyone out. It's that there are people that they are so obviously invested in, and they're not going to send them out. They were not going to send Danny to Top Rank. They were not going to send Keith to Top Rank. And for whatever reason, they were unwilling to do business with Top Rank when it came to Crawford, but not when it came to Tyson Fury. And I've often talked about why. It's because they thought Wilder was going to beat Fury. That's why he knocked him down 2 times in the first fight. So they figured, no, we'll do the second fight. It'll be bigger than the first. And he knocked him down before. He'll knock him down again. That's what they thought. It backfired, but that's what they thought. Whereas with Terrence, they never liked their chances. He was always a high risk, low reward. And that's just it, No,
you're right about that with the Tyson Fury thing. Fury, listen, Tyson Fury, man, he played them. I want to say he played them like some real suckers, because
he did.
They really, really thought that, he's coming off, he's 700 pounds overweight, he was on coke, mental health, and Wilder really beat him the first time. This is what they're saying. It was a long count, and that's the only reason why.
Mm-hmm.
So we're back, and I get it. We're gonna beat Fury because that's killing 2 birds with 1 stone. What do I mean by that? Well, I never fought Vladimir Klitschko. We know why. Sheila thinks Wilder was just a baby. So we're gonna beat the man that beat the man. So we beat Fury. In essence, we beat Vladimir as well, because we beat the guy who beat Vladimir Klitschko. So we're going to get him out of there. We're going to fight him on Black History Month, and it was a damn massacre. You saw what happened with that. Fury beat him from pillar to post. Mark Breland saved the man's life, threw the towel in, and in essence, he was the bad guy for saving the fight.
And I'm actually really angry about that because Wilder's the reason that Fury was able to be injected into the world title picture. If not for Wilder willfully giving him that opportunity, we wouldn't be here right now. But Wilder's literally the reason, for the reasons that you just mentioned. He's literally the reason that Fury is back in the picture. If not for that, Fury doesn't get a title shot. He has to go out there and earn it. If not for Wilder voluntarily giving him one. And when you say that he gamed them, I agree. Like, yeah, bro, that's literally what it was. Like, y'all thought that he just wanted a little bit of money and he was going to sell his He only came back to fight Wilder because he knew he could beat him.
Knew he can beat him. Yeah, he knew he could beat him, and it took some. Fury was the one that really exposed Wilder's lack of boxing capabilities. He has no footwork. He's really a one-trick pony. He sets the right hand up very well, but if you put him on the back foot, he can't fight on the back foot. If you have a strong, stiff jab and put that weight on it, you can't do anything. When you get him on the inside, he doesn't have an inside game. You have to mug him. So he really put that together, and he steamrolled in the second fight. And then the crazy part about it is the third fight, he took this guy to court just to get knocked out. Yeah. So you sued him to get put to sleep. You know what I mean? In front of everybody. So, Jules, you're right about that, man. So they're not going to make that. They're not going to make
Crawford and Spence is a dead subject. Let me pay the bills real quick. Saludo de lo mío. What it do? LDBC's Most Wanted. Just want to take the time out to thank Al Heyman for allowing Coach and Jules to be on this live and not ruining the best fight in boxing. Ow! You know what I'm saying? I'm Dwayne this time. Says, yo, Jules, I'm late, but it seems like Bud is frozen out at 147. Who's going to fight him since no one at PBC will? Think Ortiz will? I do. I know that it might seem like a long shot now, but you have to think of the welterweight division approximately 12 months from now. Errol could be up there at 154. Jaron Boots Ennis is exclusive to Showtime. He's not going to box off platform, and that's a very important factor that if anybody's going to be frozen out now, it could be him. Because unless Showtime makes Crawford an offer, or unless Showtime makes Ortiz an offer, he's over there by himself. What do you think? Keith Thurman's going to fight him? If Keith loses to Errol, that could be another year off or another 2 years off, because that's how he do. He lose a fight, he take 2 years off. That's what he did with Danny. He won the fight and took 2 years off. But with Pacquiao, he lost the fight, took 2 years off. He comes back 2 years later, he beats fucking what's-his-face, Barrios. Then takes the rest of the year off. By the time he comes back, it will have been a year since he fought. So you don't have Thurman to turn to. Danny went up to 154, so he won't have him either. And it's like, if I see anybody that's frozen out right now where the door is kind of closed, it's Boots more than Crawford. Now, Crawford, it's not like his situation is great. It's not great, but that's the biggest fight for Virgil. Who else is if there's somebody else out there that makes for a big welterweight unification match, who? Errol not coming back down to fit 47. I'm telling y'all, he not. It's a wrap for that. Like, it's over. The prophecy is fulfilled. He not coming back. They not fighting. It's that simple.
I think, believe it or not, Crawford has some big money waiting on him. The BLK Prime guys want to offer him some more money as well. I know for a fact I spoke to the guy yesterday. When I say the guy, I'm not talking about the janitor. I'm not talking about Blue. I'm talking about it's
the guy.
It's three of them. It's three of them. So one of them watched my show. I talked to the guy. Just talked to him yesterday. But he can, if he stay at 147, he can defend his, whoever the mandatory may be, whether that's Boots or Virgil Ortiz. You can fight those guys. Again, but you hit the nail right on the head. Showtime, will they let him fight off platform? No, not going to let Boots fight off platform. Maybe that's why Boots went the IBF route. Virgil Ortiz, I would love to see that Crawford Virgil Ortiz fight. But if that doesn't happen in May, then whoever's number 3 is, who is the number 3 guy in the WBO? You can defend the title against the number 3.
I'll look it up, but another possibility that I've been playing with the last 2 weeks is Regis Prograis. Regis is not going to fight on the cheap. He just got over $1 million for Jose Zepeda. Just got over $1 million for that fight. Crawford and Prograis was a conversation about 3 years ago. Didn't really get off the ground because Prograis didn't stay at welterweight or campaign there really. But I could see Crawford versus Prograis for the right price. I could see that happening.
I'm gonna tell you something crazy, man. You gonna laugh when I say this now. Crawford Pacquiao overseas.
You lying.
Okay.
I don't know. See, this is the thing. What it would take to get Manny in the ring with Crawford, right? The amount of money, it far exceeds the fight's market value because people already saw him lose to Ugas. So, Manny remember what Manny wanted a couple of years ago? He wanted $40 million for Crawford. He told Bob, get me 40 mil and we do the fight. That was in 2020, I believe it was, 2020, 2021.
Yeah.
and ain't nobody trying to give you that, Pacquiao. Like, nah, ain't nobody trying to give you that. It's hard out here. It's a worldwide recession. Everybody hurting. They hurting over here. They're hurting in the UK. The only place they ain't hurting is in Dubai because they got that oil money. But that's not gonna happen. I could see Crawford versus
Pacquiao. Did Pacquiao say he's coming out of retirement? He wants Spence and Crawford.
He did say that. He say a lot of things, but the asking price I think he would want to fight Crawford is astronomical. And then, I just don't see anybody giving him the money that he would want for that fight.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Pacquiao, he's done. I don't know. I'm having Bernie the Bossa coming on the show tomorrow, so I can ask him what is his opinion on certain things. But I do know this, and I know this for a fact that BLK Prime, they got some money for that boy, and they're gonna make a pitch for him.
Oh, I mean, Crawford released a tweet a little over a week ago. He mentioned Black Prime, and what I took away from the tweet is that they're gonna do more business.
Yeah, I know that for a fact. I spoke to him.
That was the takeaway from the tweet that he put out. He said something about look forward to something. So just something along those lines. And what I got from it is, look, we're not going to get anywhere with the Spence Crawford situation. So he might do more business with them. And I don't know, maybe they can get him a Butaev, maybe a Prograis. I don't really think they'll get him a Broner. I'd sooner expect to see Broner Prograis than Broner Crawford. I'd sooner expect to see that. Not that I think that either of those are particularly likely, but I could see Prograis Crawford. I could see that for the right price because Regis can go up there. He can fight him. And at worst, if he loses, he's still a champion at 140. So it's a victimless crime. You try to become a champion at welterweight, try to become a 2-division champion because he's not going to have any luck with Teofimo. Teofimo's not going to fight him. All that talk from Teofimo was all bullshit. Like, bro, you don't want them problems, bro. You know that. You know you're going to fight Jose Ramirez in the summer, bro. We all do. Cat's out the bag.
Yeah, but who is that number 3 guy? Because the thing is, people say, well, Crawford can move up to 154 and he can challenge Jamel Charlo. The PBC are not in the Terrence Crawford business.
Exactly.
He won't fight the janitor at the PBC. They don't want to. They have a no-fly zone on Crawford, period. So, and that's fine. It is what it is. It's always been that way since he's been in the welterweight division. So my thing is, who's the number 3 guy? If he stay at 147, just fight the Mando. Fight the number 3 guy. If the number 1 guy is Virgil Ortiz, if Oscar De La Hoya and them say, hey, we don't want to make that fight happen right now because we're going the WBA route, and then like you say, Bruce Ennis is with Showtime. Hell, Crawford couldn't make a deal with Showtime. With the Spence. So I doubt if Showtime is going to try to do anything with Boots and Crawford. That ain't going to happen. So fact of the matter is, let's go to the number 3 guy if he stays in welterweight.
In this situation, I'm looking at the ranks, coach. I'm looking at the ranks, and okay, you got Virgil Ortiz, you have Jaron Boots Ennis, you have Keith Thurman at number 3, which is set to change. And, in a little bit of time, Alexis Rocha, who I've talked about in the past, Golden Boy Promotions fighter. He gave Blair Cobbs his first professional loss, and he suffered his first loss at the hands of Rashidi Ellis. I could see Crawford versus Rocha. I could see that. And another possibility that I entertained, which it does seem like a little bit of a long shot, like I can't lie, it does seem like a little bit of a reach, is that Golden Boy, because they need content, because they need something to give their broadcast provider, maybe they work with Crawford on a fight-by-fight basis. And I know that's a long shot. I know that. But it's like you have welterweights that need title shots. You do, you know, and Virgil, the simple act of potentially becoming WBA champion, that by itself is not going to make him a draw. He needs a big fight. He needs a signature fight. And the most that I could think of is, well, look, if you want to get the guy a signature fight, you get him Crawford.
Get him Crawford, yeah. Yeah. I think that'd be a great matchup. Virgil Ortiz, Terrence Crawford. That'd be a great matchup. The money, you know what I mean? They're gonna have to put it's gonna cost them.
It's gonna cost them, but I felt like, yo, you know what? The other thing, like if Bud, see, this is the other thing. You know, he got 10 mil for Avanesian. That creates problems.
Yeah,
that creates problems because then what? You gonna want 15 for Virgil? Yeah, I mean, like, think about it. If you really got 10, and that's the story, according to Bud, he got 10 from Black Prime. What you gonna want for Virgil?
Yeah, shit. That's what they told me. They gave him 10. So
it's gonna be problems, but I suppose that it's viable because the zone has pay-per-view capability now, right? So maybe you give him that, you know, or something in that neighborhood, plus the upside of a pay-per-view, and between, you know, who he already is and Virgil having those Chicano fans, you know, because I don't think they're going to show up and show out for every single fight, but a fight like that is a good fight. It is a great fight. To me, it is pay-per-view worthy. Crawford versus Ortiz. Yeah, I love that fight. That's a great fight. And I think that it could, in theory, happen before some other things. Like, I would sooner expect to see that than a Spence fight. When it comes to the Spence shit, I'm done, bro. Like, I don't even want to buy his. I bought Ugas versus Spence. I bought Porter versus Spence, and I didn't buy Danny Garcia versus Spence because I was working a gig that night, and it was late. I'm like, bro, I'm not buying that shit. But I did see the bullshit on one of them streams. I did see that bullshit while I was at work, and you know, it's just like that shit is over with, bro. Like that shit is like anybody. The only reason we're talking about it is because we're content creators. We kind of have to because this is what's going on. But in the general sense, the boxing fan, man, you ain't got no reason to worry about that fight because that shit ain't gonna happen. You ain't gonna spin no block. Ain't nothing gonna happen.
And Jules, this is why I had to go back when I went to doing my research, right? And I, just like you, I saw a couple of videos you put out. But I had to go back to 2018. And I said, damn, you know what? He said this in September 2018. He said this in November 2018, you know, the great Ellie Setback interview. Well, he not interview, but he videoed it when he was face-to-face. And I say, well, damn, from 2018 to now, and I look at who everybody he named on that list, he fought everybody on that list outside of Pacquiao. And the two people he didn't mention he fought was Ugas and Danny Garcia. And all of them had one thing in common. They were Mayweather. I mean, they was PBC fighters. So I said, "Oh man, well he said it then. Listen, man, I'll never mention your name. Your name may never come up." So, Bob Arum was, you know, even though Bob Arum, you know, says, you know, yesterday I was lying, today I'm telling the truth, and he, you know, he did, you know, tear Crawford down and stuff like that in the public, but some things that Bob said he wasn't lying about. You know what I mean? So, and I think Crawford see that. I think Crawford see that now. But he don't make good money. Hell, he don't make what, $20 million or more his last 3 fights, from the Kell Brook fight to Sean Porter fight to Avanesian fight. So, shit. You know, when people say he doing bad business, I can't tell where.
That's the other thing that Heyman has been deified, and like they've kind of deified him, which is ridiculous. He's just another boxing guy. Like, this is about boxing. It's not about other shit. It's about boxing. And they've deified him to where, oh, if you have your own stance, which Crawford does, as he should, he's a network and promotional free agent. The real value of that is autonomy. I don't work for you, Al. I don't work for you. I'm not them. I don't got to check in with you when I do some shit. You know what I mean? And if Bud is saying, look, they didn't give me oversight, I'm going to take him at his word because the deal is not done. Period. The deal is not done. I don't have no reason to keep believing shit from the PBC side of things when all I see is just a lot of fights that could have happened, should have happened, but didn't. That's all I see. Whether they're in-house fights like Russell versus Santa Cruz or Charlo versus Hurd, or Thurman versus Spence that you're just now getting around to doing as a consolation prize, or Plant versus Benavidez, which should have happened in 2019 when they were both champions. 3 years later for no belts. I'm supposed to be excited?
And hell, what do you think about hell? Even Charlo and David Benavidez or Charlo and Plant on the same side of the street. So it's like and one thing I will say, there's a pattern with the PBC, and they are consistent at being consistent with what they do. So it is what it is. I don't, you can't really pay attention to their cult like following. Again, I never seen anything like this. I was talking to Antonio Tarver today, Sunday.
I've seen the pictures.
Yeah, I was talking to him yesterday, and he's promoting a fight here on the 21st. I'll be there. But I was talking to him yesterday, and he said, man, that shit, that stuff over there is like a cult. He said it's a cult over there.
Listen, the tweet from Oscar De La Hoya, which I wanted to do a segment on, but I think it would service as a good conversation piece for the live. Oscar said, PBC on Fox fighters who are under a spell must realize they have no legacy. You are just a tool and will never be a legend. #sorry. I want to preface everything I'm about to say with this. While I do agree with Oscar, that also applies to Ryan. He's not going to be a legend. No, you haven't fought anyone before, so that we could keep the same energy, right? We're always hearing that. Yeah, Ryan's not going to be a legend. Till he fights someone real, Ryan's not going to be a legend. Period. You think you're going to be a legend because you had 1 million followers on what, Instagram? How many people had 1 million followers on Vine? Where are they now? Are they legends? I remember because I loved Vine. It was a great app. It was funny as shit. But a lot of them motherfuckers it's just a few of them still floating around. And for what it's worth, some of them are actually doing well, like Logan Paul. He got his start out on Vine. A couple of other people, but not that many, but just a couple other people. The point is, yes, he's right about PBC, but that also applies to your fighter. He's not going to be a legend till he fights someone. And all this bullshit about how, hey, look, I'm able to make money fighting Joe Schmo. Yeah, that's only going to last so long, bro. He's going to need to fight someone. And it better not be Jojo Diaz. If you're not fighting Davis in April, weren't you talking shit to Regis Prograis? He's free. Fight him.
Yeah. I mean, we both knew, and I even said this myself. We both knew that the Ryan Garcia Tank Davis was capped. We knew that. And I say this time and time again. Why would you? And I can just imagine the sales pitch. Tank, why would you fight a high risk fight with another fighter that's with another company that's outside of our circle when you are selling out arenas fighting Rolly Romero?
Exactly.
You're selling out arenas fighting Hector Garcia. So this is the sales pitch. You don't even need them. At this point, they need you.
That's what they tell you.
Chasing you. They know that you're doing big numbers, massive numbers. Without them, they want to get in on the party. So these guys are calling your name out, clout chasing you because they want to get in on on the success that you're having. You're the cash cow, Tank. Just imagine the conversation Leonard Ellaby or Al Heyman of them are saying to him, or Steven Espinosa.
No, I'm in full agreement, and I would, believe it or not, because Gervonta is not in possession of any of the major titles, right? It wouldn't be a problem if they weren't downplaying the kids that are putting in the work, like Devin, like Shakur. Shakur is a 2-division champion, not a 2-division baby belt holder. He's a 2-division champion. I really have come across people that ask who he fought. Yo, for starters, he's several years younger than Gervonta, but all right, who'd he fight? WBO champion Jamel Herring, WBC champion Oscar Valdez. That's who he fought. He fought an Olympic bronze medalist in Robson Conceição, high risk, low reward guy. That's who he fought. He ain't even got 20 fights yet, but that's who he fought. If you really want to look at this statistically, Shakur Stevenson became a champion way before Gervonta Davis did in his career with way less fights. If we're going to talk, they're not the same age, you understand. But because people keep making these comparisons, I'm like, don't compare him, who's protected, to Shakur. Don't compare him to Devin. You know Devin is doing your homework for you. The Lomachenko fight was your homework since 2017. That's how long that conversation been around, since 2017. And you still haven't fought him. Who willing to fight him, though? The same guy who always said he's willing to fight him. Devin fucking Haney. He's undisputed. You're not. That by itself punches his ticket. Motherfuckers don't want to understand that. They're like, yeah, that's his ticket is punched. 24 years old, undisputed lightweight champion of the world. 24. If he beats Loma, even better. Even better. You know what I mean?
Hey, Jules, you know the crazy part about it is, and you say, I hear you say it all the time because I listen to you every day. The crazy part about it is these guys, like certain fighters with certain fan bases, they try to push this narrative. Now belts don't matter, even because their fighter doesn't have the belts. Belts don't matter. We don't need you. We don't need to fight the top guys. We automatically know our fighter would beat them because we don't need. So basically, they win by default. We automatically know based on what he did to lesser opponents. Just imagine what he would do to a Haney or Shakur or any of those guys. I don't want to imagine what he would do. I need to see what he would do. You don't win fights and get crowned the king by imagining what he would do. It doesn't work.
Exactly. Like you don't get into the Hall of Fame and you don't get a purse for postulating. All right. How many people knew that Ruiz was going to beat Anthony Joshua? Not that many. Right. How many people knew that Tyson Fury was going to run over Wilder in the second fight? Not that many. All right. So telling me, oh, well, he would. Fuck, he would. He should fight the fucker. That's what he should do. And to the original point, I wouldn't be bothered by Gervonta Davis at this point because he doesn't have any major titles if people didn't keep trying to compare him to the real kids that's putting in the real work. Like look at Gervonta's lightweight resume. A journeyman in Gamboa. A nobody that ain't beat nobody in Isaac Cruz. A retard in Rolly Romero. I literally heard somebody the other day say, look, Rolly's a star. Gervonta turning these guys into stars. How is he a star? Has he even fucking fought? Has he even fucking fought since he got knocked out? Literally, I was listening to the boxing voice. Shout out to Nestor Gibbs. I heard a caller call in last week. He turning these guys into stars like May. Like, how is Rolly a star? Has he fought? Is he going to do like a big gate? We'll find out if he is a star in his next fight. But this is resume, though. This is resume. Journeyman Gamboa with a torn Achilles tendon. Nobody Isaac Cruz that ain't beat nobody. Retard Rolly and a super featherweight in Hector Garcia. That's his resume. At lightweight, that's his resume.
Well, Rolly does have a Fugatti. Rolly does have a Fugatti. I don't know if you ever heard of that car, but it's an imitation Bugatti, but you take the B and you replace it with the F. I think he has a Mazda with a kid on it with the 12-inch rims. Like no, go in his Instagram. I'm telling you, I'm serious. Go in his Instagram and you'll see the car. He's sending it. It's an orange car. He got that. It's custom made right after the Tank Davis fight. So they gave him a Fugatti.
Like, listen. The other thing is that in this generation, which I think is weird, Rolly has people on the internet that like him. People on the internet. Not saying that there aren't people outside of the internet that might ask for a photo, but that doesn't make him a star, bruh. You know when he's a star? When he can headline his own show, do a good gate, and sell some pay-per-views. Then he's a star. Has he actually done that since having been knocked out by Gervonta? No. So how is he a star? In what capacity? What's the threshold for being a star? Because he ain't even fought since he got knocked out. So how is he a star?
My question to you is, what is a star? Like when these guys say Rolly's a star, what is a star? Can they give me a definition of what it is? What does that mean? He's a star. What does that mean? What's a star?
And I pulled up Oscar's tweet because I want to enter into the portion of this thing where there's not that many PBC fighters that I actually think will get into the Hall of Fame. One of the only ones that I think might, maybe, and it's tenuous, maybe Wilder, because he has 10 title defenses. And I think because of the 10 title defenses, irrespective of who they were against, maybe, and it's a big maybe, because they're going to look back on this era and like when they look back a couple of years from now after he's retired, I mean, you can say that, the Fury fight, yada, 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 big fight, yeah, but you fucking lost. You didn't win. You lost. And then outside of that, well, what was your signature fight? Ortiz, who didn't beat anybody. So I could see an argument where Wilder gets in off the 10 title defenses. I kind of can. But I wonder how much consideration they're going to give him. I do. I don't think Keith Thurman is going to get in the Hall. I don't think Jermall Charlo is going to get in the Hall. I don't think that Sean Porter is going to get in the Hall. I don't know about Danny, to be real. I don't know that he's going to get in the Hall. I really don't. Danny Garcia, I don't know about that. I think Jermell will because he's undisputed. He's one of the few junior middleweight undisputed champions. And because there's, it's a very short list, that may get him into the Hall. But a lot of those other guys, nah, you're not getting in the Hall, fam. You bugging. For what? The fuck you did to get in the Hall? You know what I mean? I don't know. Who do you think gets in the Hall, Coach?
I don't know, man. That's a good question. You made a valid point about Wilder. I mean, I can potentially see Wilder because when you just look at it, just without analyzing the resume, you can say, hey, man, he was a heavyweight champion. He defended his title 10 times.
Yep.
So if you just say that and leave it at that, then you can say, oh, that's impressive. But then when you sit back and peel back the layers of the onion and say, who is he for?
Yeah.
That's where the rubber hits the road. Because, Jules, you've been watching boxing a long time. You're a pugilist. Who you fight matters.
Yeah.
Who you fight matters. If you fought Toucan Sam, Rainbow Bright, the Care Bears, the Powerpuff Girls.
I think about Gaddy versus Ward, right? That's one of the epic fights. And because of the fight, they got in the Hall. It's kind of like really the fight got in the Hall. And I'm like, well, look, there are a lot of other people that they really like the Wilder versus Fury trilogy. Even if I'm not a big fan of the trilogy, I know that there's an audience out there that really like that fight. So I think about that look, there's people out there that really like that fight, and he does have 10 title defenses. So I think he, more than many others, might be able to get into the Hall. He might. Yeah. It's tenuous, but he might. But I look at the other guys, and I'm like, nah, Marcus Brown, you're not getting in the Hall? The fuck? Nah, you're not getting in the Hall. David Benavidez in the Hall of Fame? Nah, son. Caleb Plant? No way. Jermall Charlo, are you kidding? Fucking Keith Thurman? Hell no, you're not getting in the Hall, bruh. Danny? What, for beating old Zab? Fuck out of here, B. With old Morales? Come on, B. Oh, I know, because you beat Amir Khan. Bradis Prescott beat Amir Khan before you in one round. Is he gonna get in the Hall? Nah, right? So I don't understand. And I just run down that itemized list, and I'm like, maybe Leo can get in the Hall. I don't think honestly, I don't think he should, but he is a 4-division champion, so maybe. There was a time when he used to fight people. He fought Kiko Martinez in his prime. That I got to give him credit for that because Kiko was still out here knocking people out. Leo fought him ages ago and beat him. He did fight Victor Terrazas for the WBC. I think that was at 122. And he beat Farrell Crampton. He did beat Farrell Crampton after Carl beat him, but still, he did beat him. They did run it back, and they're 1-1 with each other. So maybe he gets in the Hall, Maybe.
Does Tank get into the Hall?
That's the thing that I'm like, they're excited now, Coach, about watching him knock over these knockover guys. But I really wonder when it's all over and he's done, what is his career going to look like? What will he have done? Who will he have fought? And will that be enough to get in the Hall? Because, like, bro, you're not a 3-division champion because you beat Mario Barrios. There was an undisputed champion up there when you went up there. That's not who you fought. You fought an underling, some other guy. You didn't fight the guy. You fought some other guy. And then you want to vacant the WBA title that he has right now, that he has had since 2019. Bruh, it was vacant, and you fought Gamboa for it. Come on, that's a Hall of Fame resume.
These guys, the thing is if you talk to the pro PBC guys, and you got a lot of them online, anybody from the PBC is going to the Hall of Fame. You know that. Yeah. I mean, did you see the way he brushed his teeth this morning? That's Hall of Fame worthy. Did you see the way he beat up that Amazon delivery driver? That's Hall of Fame worthy. They, like, these dudes literally live on another planet. And no, Jules, I'm serious, bro. Like, I'm like, these dudes really have some low IQs. Like, and then they have several different things going on. They're low IQ, but then they try to mix in the conscious community stuff. That doesn't work. So I think that kind of confuses them. And then they really don't know anything about boxing. But it's kind of like they have this, I don't know, man, that they try to mix race into it. Then they don't know nothing. They don't know a check left hook from a backhand. They don't, the only thing they know is, go ahead.
There's maybe two. I could think of maybe two guys that maybe get in the Hall and an honorable mention. I'm giving him an honorable mention because he's a young man and there's still time. Like Stephen Fulton's a unified champion at super bantamweight, and irrespective of whether or not he fights Inoue, which I don't think that's going to happen, but because he is a unified champion, if he were to go to featherweight, they got ponies in that show. They do have ponies in that featherweight show. So if at some point in the years to come, he goes up there, he becomes a 2-division, maybe a 3-division, I could see it happening. But the popular guys, they're not really popular, but they're, whatever, right? Keith's not getting in the Hall, bro. If you think Keith Thurman is getting in the Hall, you are on hard drugs. He's not getting in the Hall, bro.
He's getting in the Hall. He's getting in the Chow Hall. But not the Hall of Fame. Yeah, he's getting in the Chow Hall, but that the hallway, but that's about it. You know what I mean? These guys, I'm like, dude, like, and this is what I'm saying. What I love about you, you have a boxing criteria. You and there's quite a few channels out there, good channels have a boxing criteria. These guys don't have a boxing criteria. They have I can't even describe it. Are you on my ethnicity, or race, or are you with a certain promotional company? That's it. Like, it doesn't take much. Like, dude, you do know in boxing who you fight matters. You get into the Hall of Fame based on your accomplishments and based on the level of opposition, who you fought, what type of opposition, you know what I mean? Like, when you fought these tough fights, did you rise to the occasion and win, or whatever, They don't have a boxing criteria. They have something else going on disguised as boxing.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Honestly, yeah. Like, if you want to know what a Hall of Famer looks like, a Hall of Famer who's often on this channel all the time, he happens to go by the name Nonito Donaire. If you look at his exploits across 4 weight classes, that is a Hall of Fame resume. And I guarantee when he retires, he's going to the Hall. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. I lost count of how many champions he fought. I lost count because I usually keep a tally, and that's usually what tells me, because the real good guys, they have these things in common that, well, I didn't just hold a belt once at one weight. I held the belt a couple of times. I beat a couple of champions. I moved up in weight a couple of times. Hell, one time I moved down in weight. These is the guys that get in the Hall. Those is the guys. They the ones that get in the Hall. If you need a yardstick or a point of reference for what a Hall of Fame resume looks like, but you don't want to use any contemporary fighters because, they're still out here and you don't know what to make of it, look at Nonito Donaire's resume. I told guys years ago Tim Bradley has a Hall of Fame resume. They didn't want to believe me. And then when he gets in the hall, I saw how angry everybody got. And I told y'all, he beat Marquez after Marquez slapped Manny. I was there for the fights. You see what I mean? Like, I was in that era watching them fights as they happened. So I knew the fact that Tim beat Marquez right after Marquez slapped Manny, that's major. The fact that he gave Lamont Peterson, Devon Alexander, they first L, yeah, that's good. I think he fought Edna Cherry too, unless I'm mistaken. I think it was it Edna Cherry?
Yeah.
It was Edna Cherry, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, if you look at his resume, it's names in there, it's big fights in there, and it's big performances. The Provodnikov performance alone is better than some guys' whole careers. Just that fight.
Jules, this is the thing too. Like you say it all the time, and I say it. It's like, bro, you get in today's time on YouTube and Twitter, the guys who do the least gets the most praise.
Mm-hmm.
The fighters that do the most, they get torn down. The fighters that do the most, oh, he ain't fought nobody. He's a 3-4 division world champion. He beat this one undefeated fighter. He beat this gold medalist. He beat this guy, undefeated champion, this and that. Oh, they was nobody. They was Euro bombs, or they was this, they was nobody. Okay, but your guy literally beat Hobo Sam, Pork Chop Willie, Neck Bone, Chico Stick, Hog Head Cheese, and you're praising this guy like he beat Godzilla.
Oh, she said Chico Stick, man.
Yeah, you know. So it's okay. Shit. So that's Hall of Fame to you? Yeah, that's Hall of Fame. Like it might be the Chow Hall of Fame.
Or the hallway. I mean?
Yeah, the hallway Hall of Fame, but actual boxing Hall of Fame, no, sir. It doesn't work that way.
And I'm telling them now that they don't realize it because whatever, right? Bud has a Hall of Fame resume. You stuck on this right here and right now shit. Bud ticket is punched. When they hear that, they cannot compute. They can't compute him like he's a 3-division, 2-time lineal, 2-time Ring Magazine, former undisputed, current reigning welterweight champion. All right. If he retired right now, he goes to the hall. Now you think that because Errol beat Danny, and I'm not kidding. I don't know that Errol goes to the hall. I'm not saying that he can't because he is a unified champion, and that's a good argument. He is. But in this era, he's a unified champion among many unified champions. Stephan is unified. MJ is unified. Beterbiev is unified. Kenshiro Taraji is unified. You see what I mean? You won among many. It's not like it's just you. There's a lot of unified champions. Fucking Usyk. Usyk going to the hall. Once again, you could say that dumbass cruiserweight shit. Oh, it wasn't no. Go ahead, bro. He's undisputed. That's one. Two. How many undisputed champions does the Ukraine produce? Not that many, right? Right. That stands out. The time that he did it was quick. In the time that it's taken Errol to get 3 belts, Usyk got 7 in 2 weight classes. I'm not kidding. In the time it's taking you to get 3 belts, this guy became an undisputed cruiserweight champion and a heavyweight unified champion. So that's why I say when I look at Errol, I'm like, unless you add more to that plate, I don't know if you're gonna get in the hall. It's gonna take more. Like it might take more. I'm not saying it can't happen, but I don't know. Now, Bud, he'll get in. He already been undisputed, bro. He already did that. That's done. All this other shit is extra credit. It's done.
I mean, he was at the Hall of Fame when Floyd and them got inducted. Floyd, what's my name? One of my favorite fighters, James Lights Out Tony. They took a cast of his fist.
They remember that? Cast the Errol fist.
They took a cast. They invited him to come out. But that's the thing. They invited
he knew Bud was going to be there. He decided not to come. He knew
what happened.
He knew Bud was going to be there. He decided not to come. I'm just
the Hall of Fame invited him to come out, and they took a cast of his fist. So when they do that, that's automatic. You know, they don't take casts of people's fists if you're not going to be there. You know what I mean? That means that his Hall of Fame is based on your overall body of work. It's not based on.
And in the last 4 years, they developed this just it's so asinine, bro. That they try to limit his resume to welterweight. resumes don't work like that in sports. You see that? Like, no, this is a sport. We look at everything you did, all of it. You know what I mean? And you know why they do this, obviously, because Errol's only ever been a champion at welterweight, so they try to use that as the gauge. When no, he is already more accomplished than Errol. Already. There's no debate. There's no argument. You can lie to your subscribers. You can lie to your audience, but the rest of the world out here, everybody know he already more accomplished than Errol. It's not a debate. Errol ain't no 2 division, no 3 division. You've been at welterweight a gajillion years. You're not even lineal yet. Not even Ring Magazine. You won't be at 54 either. If I'm right, he's just a few fights away from his first loss. And I believe I'm right because, well, he's going to 54, right? That's what I said he would do. And when he gets there, I don't think it's going to be Thurman. It's going to be somebody else. But he is the plane is about to crash.
I mean, it is what it is. So, and like you said, again, I get it. I understand. You have this cult-like following. These guys' criteria are not boxing criteria. They don't understand the first thing about boxing. Dude, you have to look at the overall body of work. And just because you don't like a guy does not mean that you dismiss his overall body of work of accomplishments because you don't like this guy. It doesn't work that way. Your feelings are your feelings, right?
Example, I don't like Tyson Fury. I don't like him, but he's getting in the hall. I can't stand. He's a fucking liar. He's a fucking cocaine nandrolone cheat. But is he getting in the hall?
Yeah, he's getting in the hall. Yeah.
He's getting in the hall. He's a two-time heavyweight champion, 2-time Ring Magazine and lineal champion.
Yep.
Unfortunately, he's getting in the hall.
He's getting in the hall. He has some key victories. Vladimir Klitschko, even though people said I was a stinker, I do get that. It was a stinker to me too. But he beat Vladimir Klitschko. They hyped up Wilder, said that he was the hardest hitting heavyweight in the history of boxing. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to take a dump on Wilder, but I say all that to say this. How can you say that Deontay Wilder was the hardest heavyweight in the history of boxing when you don't factor in who the hell was he knocking out? He wasn't knocking out George Foreman.
No records.
He wasn't knocking out Ron Lyles, Ernie Chambers, Larry Holmes.
The record for first round knockouts in the heavyweight division is not held by Deontay Wilder. It's held by Shannon Briggs. And unless I'm mistaken, Shannon Briggs has more knockouts than he has fights. So where do we get that Deontay Wilder? No, that's Klitschko. Klitschko has 53 knockouts. Klitschko has knocked out more men than you've fought. So how are you the hardest hitter in the heavyweight history? Like I don't think Klitschko's the hardest hitter, by the way. I actually think it's George Foreman. If I had to guess off the top of my head, who do I think is the hardest punching heavyweight in history that you put a guy in there with him and he'll knock him out? It's George. Would I pick George to knock out Wilder in a time machine? Yes. You want to know why? Harold Sconier's damn near knocked out Wilder, but George Foreman can't? And that's the deep, dark secret about Wilder that they hate talking about. In Tuscaloosa, Alabama, he fought a 5'11" journeyman named Harold Sconier's who damn near ended his career. Damn near took his own. So I think George could have done a little better. George Foreman, Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah, so, and this is what I'm saying, Jules. Like, again, these guys live in the world of bizarro. When they know nothing about boxing, it's based on their racial angle, their network, and advisory company angle. That's where it comes from. It comes nothing from boxing. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, and that's just what it is. These are the guys who will tell you sign the contract, 60, 40, 70, 30. Like I went back and did some studying. I said, damn, you know what? These guys repeat everything they heard Errol say. Mm-hmm. He was on Instagram Live, drunk with his girl. He say, fuck around, gonna be, you better sign the contract. Fuck around, gonna be 640, 730, 80-20. I'll take whatever we give them. Guess what happened immediately the next day? You got guys to this day, 2023. What do they say? Sign the contract. 60-40, 70-30, 80-20. They repeated everything he said. In 2018, when he was at the Danny Garcia fight, and he said Terrence Crawford on the wrong side of the street. What did they say? Terrence Crawford on the wrong side of the street. Yeah, they said, well, he with Bob, he didn't leave Bob Arum, leave ESPN. And that's what Spence said. His cronies online, they said the same thing. They said that he ain't fought nobody. Look at his resume. Who he fought? Who he fought that better than Chris Algieri? And Derrick James is screaming in the background saying the same thing. Guess what they said online? The cronies from the cronies. Who Crawford ain't fought nobody. Who he fought? This and that. So I'm like, damn, like these dudes are parrots. They like parrots. Whatever they hear the parrot says, whatever they hear the master, the owner says, they say the same thing. But they say it with so much vigor. And
you'd have thought that they came up with the shit themselves. Would have thought like oh, that's so original. He's on the wrong side of the street. Where'd you hear that? Wonder where that came from. The wrong side of the street. And it's like motherfuckers are really trying to argue you down over this Spence shit because, like you said, like I see it that look, there is ego involved now. Yeah. You've attached your own ego to a situation that does not otherwise involve you. And at the end of the day, all I know is 4 or 5 years ago, the videos are still up. It's literally somebody left a comment on it the other day. I said, they're not going to fight, dog. Like, ain't going to fight. Errol acting like somebody that don't want to fight. Because if you wanted to fight that man, you ain't going to sit on a podium coming up with reasons not to fight him.
Not to fight
5 years ago, that's what you was doing. Oh, he on the wrong side of the street. I'm the ace. Like, bro, you sound like you don't want to fight. That's all I hear. Like, you don't want to fight. But what is this shit, B? If he's viewed as pound for pound, when you love some shit, you want to test yourself when you love some shit. Whether you an artist or a musician or a beat maker or a content creator, when you love some shit, you want to test yourself. Errol did not want to test himself. I'm the eighth eye. He got to come across the street. Tell him to come to Showtime and fight. I remember the whole shit like it was yesterday. Come on, B.
Hey. It was hilarious. It was hilarious. It was like, okay, rolling his neck, popping gum at the same time, and I'm like, these dudes. I said, man, something. I realize now. I said something is really wrong with these guys. Mm-hmm. Like, something is really wrong with them. Like, you just repeat everything you hear, and there's really no logic in it. There's just emotions, and when you can't win, and you've been doing this. You've been doing this for a minute. And I know you don't receive several threats. When you can't win the argument, we're going to pull up, drop the addy. I got shooters. You better not come to the fight. This and that. You're like, sir, what does this have to do with, you defending your position?
Listen, bro, I the other day, right, I did a post about the Thurman shit. This little like Ukrainian guy, I'm going to assume he's Ukrainian. The dude looks like a pedophile, like a Pee Wee Herman type dude. He posts some shit. I ain't going to say what. He went a little bit too low. And I'm like, bro, you really doing all that for Spence? You doing all that for Errol Spence? I'm like, bro, like, yo, it's something wrong with y'all. Like, legitimately, though, it's something wrong with you. It's Spence, bro. He not going to suck your dick, and he not going to let you suck his dick. What the fuck are you doing, bro? You cannot be that invested, bro. Like, I would not post in other words, I would not step out of character over Crawford. It's not that deep. Crawford don't pay nothing around here for me to be doing all that. And this was over the Spence versus Thurman shit. Dude was so mad that I said, no, I'm not interested. And he kept trying to argue about the shit like, oh, were you interested in Evanesian? Well, did you? I'm like, bro, like, how you that upset over a complete stranger online?
Man, I don't, bro. Like, again, and it's because a lot of these guys, they live their lives vicariously. I don't get the emotional attachment part of it though. Like, why are you so emotionally attached? I can see you liking a guy, but the intensity from which you like him is mind-boggling to me.
You know what I think it is, Coach? I think it's that elements that are perhaps elements that we have, like we have children, you know what I mean? Real life elements, like outside shit. I think that these elements are missing in these individuals' lives, so they spend an inordinate amount of time online, and I don't think they realize how it affects their psychology. They're like, yo, you spend all day arguing with people about this shit all day. It's like muscle memory. to these individuals. Whereas I'm like, bro, I don't really want to argue with nobody unless I'm gonna get paid. I'm online because I make money online, in case you haven't realized that. And I think that they don't, I think they sometimes don't realize that. I'm not on Twitter for no reason. I don't even fucking like Twitter. If it weren't for fast news, I wouldn't use it. The only reason I'm there is to keep up with the stories so that I can then talk about them and make that money online. But these guys spend hours and hours and hours warring with complete strangers online that it's muscle memory. Like, fuck you, yo, drop the addy. Like, man, oh my God. Like, bro, you really about to shoot at people over Arrow? You really about to shoot at people over Arrow? Really? That's where we at? Yeah. Oh shit! Like, bro, all right. If you're gonna shoot at people, at least get some goddamn money. That's all I'm saying. Like, you can shoot at people, fine, but at least get some goddamn money.
Man, hey, it's hilarious, and again, it's just the vigor from which these arguments come from. Like, everybody in your chat has been threatened by some of these same people.
Mm-hmm.
And on Twitter, you know, Twitter is the Wild Wild West as well.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. Like, I'm like, bro, like, how do we go from having a disagreement about boxing? I'm presenting some fact. Yeah, you can tell when a person lost the argument, because the one who loses the argument normally is the one that sends the threats.
Yeah.
You know, they start name calling.
Oh, they'll start talking about you instead of the subject, and it's like, look, man, I've been an MLB fan, a hardcore MLB fan, hardcore NFL fan for many years. I don't watch those sports in the same frequency that I used to when I was younger. But it's like, you get into debates. Debates are normal. We're guys. That's what we do. But this whole, man, I listen to your show, bro. Motherfuckers be mad. I'm like, bro, you doing all that over Errol Spence? You don't even live in the same state as Errol Spence. I think it was a guy in Omaha, Nebraska called you. He's mad than a bitch over
No,
Spence.
he was not. This guy said he was from New York.
Right. It was a dude in New York. It was
he called himself Money B. He called me 7 times in a row. 7 times in a row. And he just said, he was talking wild, like, you know, I'm gonna put the magnum to your head, I'm gonna put you in the dirt. We got long money. You better not come to the fight. So I end up dropping his number in the chat. If you listen to the show, I dropped his number in the chat. He called back the 7th time. Yo, why you gave people my phone number? You got all these people calling my number. I'm telling you, I'm gonna put you in the dirt, this and that, this and that. Then he calls back 2 weeks later, says that he called back apologizing. I had Rick Glaze on the show. He says that the FBI came to his house.
What?
And he said that I put the FBI on him, which I didn't. But if I did put the FBI on him, I was very well on my right if I felt like that my life is in danger. And you know what I mean? But I know these guys. I've been dealing with them for a while. I'm
like in all actuality, look, there was an instance very recently. A guy on Twitter that I followed. A guy, his name is Father of the Year. He had one of those kind of guys talking crazy to him. You know, one of them just real passionate on the internet. And you know, he talking the other guy. He was talking all that extra rah-rah shit to him. So they happen to be at the same fight at the same time. And the guy was with somebody. Now the dude, Father of the Year, he just so happened to take some pictures of the guy and the people. And if you look at the pictures, like, just find him on Twitter, tell him to show you the pictures. One dude looked like he just seen Moses. His eyes was about to pop out his head in the picture. The other dude, the dude that was talking crazy to him, this dude looked like Stephen Espinoza, but fatter. Like, he looked like a fatter, more pear-shaped stuff. And it's like, yo, that internet shit, man, like, go ahead, man. Like, just whatever, bro. Like whatever. Like, I don't know. You're going to shoot me, kill my ancestors, my whole village. I get it, bro. I'm very
Jules, he calls back crying. Man, look, man, I'm sorry. I'm a 22. This is what he said. I'm a 22-year-old black male. My father's not in the house. He said something of that sort. You know, so he's trying to garner sympathy, right? Mm-hmm. And then he says, man, I just didn't like the fact that I felt like you was being too hard on Errol Spence. I didn't like the way you was talking about him, and just what he said. I got that video set aside, right? Because I'm gonna just edit this video and just upload that part the way he calls into the show, copping deuces, right? And copping deuces, and then I'm like, so. And then he goes back to argue with me again. Yeah, well, you call the police. You ain't about that life. Yada yada. Sir, I'm not about that life. Not about that life. I live in the suburbs now. I have wife, kids.
For real, like it's some toxic like what you think we should shoot it out over Crawford and Bud? We should just shoot it out. Fuck it, right? Let's get the Full Metal Jackets. Fuck it. And just shoot it out over Errol and Bud. That's what we doing, really? I have better things to do. Yeah, I'm just like, I really don't want to shoot it out with anyone for any reason at all. But I'm definitely not going to do all that over no motherfucking Crawford and Spence. Like, fuck it, bro. They ain't fighting, bro. I can't do nothing but that. What you want me to do?
I'm like, dude, I'm too. Look, okay, bro. Look, whatever. Anyways. Hold on, I'm gonna tell you something else. The guy called back. Don't nobody know that this is the first time I'm saying this. The guy called back threatening me again. But he called back after the show had ended. And I just so happened to answer the phone. He called back threatening again. I said, there's no way the FBI came to this guy's house. If the FBI came to his house and why would he call me back threatening me again off air? Yeah. I say, man, these guys are weird. Oh, and come to find out, he follows, and guess what he said? He follows, and I don't mean to bring this guy's name up, but he follows the guy Southpaw, the one I always say come to Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
I said, oh, it makes sense now. That's where you come from.
Man, listen, man, like, I'm not even gonna get into the shit, but I'm like, listen, man, it's a lot of people shooting it out for a lot of different reasons. Spence and Crawford. Like, really, fam? We about to have a whole gunfight over Spence and Crawford. Really?
Hey, I was like, bro, it ain't that serious, man. So you really want me to spend my hard-earned money, come to your city, and do what?
Think about, you got to go through gas and tolls, and gas costs a lot. By the way, we got to go through gas, tolls, and all this shit because of Spence and Crawford. Do you hear that shit? We doing this. It was a dude. Shout out to Trouble T Roy, my man.
Yeah.
Dude told him, I better never see you in New Zealand. New Zealand? Bro, what the fuck would he be doing in New Zealand? I hardly think this man is going to fly halfway. I don't even know how many flights you have to take to get to New Zealand from America. But I hardly think he would make the flight down there to shoot the 5 with you over Crawford and Spence, bro. Like, what kind of cartoon shit are you want? Like, I better never see you in New Zealand. In all likelihood, you fucking won't. Serious.
Man, Jules, it's bad with me. Like, I have this, it's bad with me. I don't mean to just stay on this subject, but I have this guy that's from America. He calls me from a Pakistani phone number. This is how dedicated my haters are. I have some dedicated haters. He calls me from a Pakistani phone number, says his name is Abdul Abziz, but I call him Abdul Disease. And he says that, when he see him, he's going to do this. He even went so far as to say that, hey, I'm in your city. I'm in Tampa, where yada 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 yada. Drop the edit. So but like these dudes. He wasn't here, of course, but these dudes are dedicated. I don't know what it is. They're dedicated, and I realize these some young guys. They're in their 20s. They're emotionally not developed yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So these are young kids. They're not emotionally not developed yet. And that's just what it is. I say, bro,
Yeah, I mean, like they're not in control of their emotions. Not to get on no Andrew Tate shit, but it's like, bro. I mean, like, if I really felt like it is what it is, man. It's all right, bro. Look, Spence ain't gonna fight Crawford, and it is Spence's fault. And there's nothing you could do to stop me from saying that. There's nothing you can do. I'm going to keep saying that. There's nothing. I don't care how mad it makes you. I don't care. That's reality, and it just is what it is. Now let me read the super chats. Isaac said Danny did beat Matisse, who was a real boogeyman, but with lots of low blows. But my question, Isaac, is the act of beating, because he was solid. It is true that is one of the more solid victories on Danny's resume, and he wasn't favored to win that fight, unless I'm mistaken. I believe he was the betting underdog. But is that in it of itself enough to get him in the hall? I'll use an example. Joe Smith Jr. beat the odds by my count. He beat them about 4 times. He was favored to lose against Bernard, but he didn't. He was favored to lose against Fanfara, but he didn't. I think he was also favored to lose against the later Alvarez, and he didn't. And I'm just saying that the act of beating the odds or even amassing a solid victory, is that really enough to get you in the hall, that in and of itself? And it's like, no, not really. The guys that get in the hall, those are the guys that really went above and beyond. Honestly, those are the guys that get in the hall. Those are the guys. And that's not, I don't see that on Danny. I mean, no. His fight, which was the most high-profile fight of his career, the Thurman fight, the following Sunday, people were complaining because it didn't live up to what they wanted it to be. And a lot of people saw that fight. 6 million people saw that fight. I remember there was a lot of buzz around it. And the following Sunday, it was in the New York Post. That shit was, man. And that was that fight was bigger than the Spence fight, even though the Spence fight was on pay-per-view. But that fight was much bigger. It was seen by a much bigger audience. 6 million people tuned into that fight. Don't believe me? Look it up. And that shit was a stinker, bro. And you didn't win, but it was also a stinker. If it were a stinker and you won, then, but you lost.
Jules, so tell me, how do you see the rest of the welterweight division playing out? Once Crawford and Spence, how would that, we know they're not fighting each other, so we're past that. But there's a new wave coming up. Virgil Ortiz, he deserves a shot at the title. Boots Ennis deserves a shot at the title. Cody Crowley, these other guys, Stanionis, it's like a new crop.
Well, I think that Boots, and I'm not saying it to be fucked up, I'm saying it because of where he is. You have an exclusivity deal with Showtime. So, maybe you can get Butaev because he's fought on Showtime. Maybe you can get Stanionis after Virgil's done with him, assuming they even fight. They might not. You never know. But assuming they fight, maybe he can get Butaev, which I like that fight. Maybe he can get Stanionis at some point, it's not a bad fight. But those high-profile fights, like those signature fights that you need, because there's a process that everybody goes through, like a changing of the guard. And for Boots, it really looks right now like, well, you're not going to get that fight because Danny ran up there to 154. Keith's not going to fight you right after Errol. If he doesn't retire, he might retire if he loses. But it doesn't look like you're going to get Keith. You're not going to get Danny. Sean already retired. So signature fights, it looks like he may not get one. And that's not good because you need that, like how Oscar fought Chavez on his way out, how Manny fought Oscar on his way out, how Fury fought Vlad, and AJ fought Vlad on his way out. That passing of the torch is important. And who's going to pass him the torch?
Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about that. The passing of the torch fights, you hit the nail right on the head. We saw that with, even though Ali was shot, but Larry Holmes, and people hate Larry Holmes to this day.
Yeah, Larry and Trevor Burbick, they caught Ali on the way out. And, with Virgil, it's not dissimilar who's going to pass him the torch. Now, we can say that Virgil, because he is where he is, he's with Golden Boy, there's a chance. I don't even know if it's a good chance, but there is a chance that maybe they can work something out with Crawford at some point. At some point, maybe there's a chance they can work something out with Crawford. But as far as the welterweight scene, it's kind of looking like if Conor Benn comes back, I don't know if he's going to come back to welterweight, by the way. I don't know that. because I kind of feel like maybe he'll make a pit stop at 54, fight Kell Brook, and then go back into the Eubank fight. So I don't even know if he's going to come back to 54 to 47. But it's like Virgil has a chance. He has a chance, but it's not a great chance because, well, you're with Golden Boy. What do they got? Blair Cobbs, Alexis Rocha. The most high-profile fight they can get you is Crawford, and I don't know if they're going to do that. And we know that these are very big welterweights, Virgil and Boots. That means that at some point they're going to go to 154. Now, if and when Boots goes to 154, he will have more to choose from because you got Brian Castano, you got Tim Tszyu, you got Tony Harrison, you got I don't know if the Banana's still there. But you know, there's a couple of fights that he can have that they're good fights, but that's when he gets to 54. As far as 47, it's not looking good. It's just not looking good. Like, who you gonna fight, bro?
Yeah. The thing is damn, you made a valid point with as it relates to Conor Benn. How do you see Conor Benn? Do you see him more of a man? It's it's okay. It seemed like he's fighting mostly domestically.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to be more of a domestic fighter. You know, he's looking for the big name fights on his side, of course. Chris Eubanks Jr. I don't know who else he would fight. I don't foresee Conor Benn fighting any other welterweights, like maybe from the PBC. I don't see any of that maybe happening because of the political landscape. I don't even know if that's what he wants. You know, how do you see his career going about so far?
Well, if he can get, there's a couple of fights I can think of for him that for him, he's very fortunate. Like, honestly, I think he's very fortunate. If he were to go back to welterweight, I can think of at least 4 fights he could have that because of his namesake and because of the controversy surrounding him, they would still do very good metrics. Conor Benn versus Florian Marku. There's nobody else for Florian Marku to fight, bro. Sky has nobody for you. Americans don't realize there's a large Albanian contingent in the UK. They'll come out to support Florian, and Conor's fans will come out to support him, and that will be a nice, decent-sized fight. And because Florian doesn't have very many options at Sky and Boxer, if Conor makes you an offer, you better fucking take it. That's a genuine possibility if Conor goes back to welterweight. Another possibility is Michael McKinson, who just, he got knocked out by Virgil Ortiz, but he gave Virgil a good fight. He's a southpaw. He's a moving target. He's a young guy, good boxer. You could do an interesting little fight with them, and that will do better over there than anything that Boots is doing over here, because that kid has a name, and even if you don't think he has the same ceiling, which I don't, by the way, I don't think he has the same ceiling as Virgil. I don't think he has the same ceiling as Boots, but he has the marquee value that they don't. So you can make Marku, you can make McKinson, you can make Evanesian, you can make Brook at 54. That would be a big money fight. Brook is coming off the big win over Amir Khan. You could build that as a box office fight. People think that controversy over the Peds hurt Conor. Reality? I just got him more press. People don't really care about Peds in boxing. If they did, Tyson Fury wouldn't have fans. He tested positive for nandrolone. You know what I mean? Roy in 2001, and I love Roy. It's my guy. He tested positive for some shit in 2001.
Yeah, he did. And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's quite, if we're going to go down that path, it's a lot of fighters. Some of them even who we love have popped dirty. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, it's amazing. Like, the 154, like, I love the 154 pound division because it seemed like it's a stacked division. So many people there. Jamel Charlo, of course, is the ultimate champion there. Fundora, Tony Harrison. I don't know why. I just like Tony Harrison, man. He's a great boxer. Fight off the back foot very well. Counterpunching
great
ability.
Shit talker too. Great shit talker. Love
great.
Shit.
Yeah.
Great shit talker.
That's the only guy I've ever seen that made Jamel Charlo cry at a press conference. Like, literally, I remember the guy was crying.
I remember that.
like I'm like, man, he, you know.
Well, let me read the super chat first. Shout out to Ring. F. Vargas resume. Francisco Vargas is superior to most PBC fighters, but isn't in the Hall of Fame. Hey, coach, who is Mayweather Promotions' next big fighter?
Um, I don't know, man. Bro, you know what? I tell you what. My dog Booger Ray Leonard, when he was asked that question by the great Brian Custer, who was the next big star at Mayweather Promotions, he couldn't answer the question. So if Booger Ray could not answer that question, I most definitely can't answer the question. That's my answer.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the fuck else they got going on. Like it's a running gag with Broly that he seems to be the only other, I guess, guy that Leonard has, and you know. But for what it's worth, hey, listen, bro. I honestly think Javante's on the eve of re-signing the Mayweather Promotions anyway. So Leonard will be back in the Davis business in no time because I honestly think that's what he's about to do. But yeah, when it comes to Conor actually has more options than people realize. And to address H. Boston, Kell Brook, last year, he actually said that he was waiting on the winner of Eubank versus Benn. He said that, not me. And he was actually in the Ingle gym last year, you know, waiting for that winner to come out. So I wouldn't rule out Conor Benn versus Kell Brook. And I know that, look, beating today's Kell Brook, it doesn't mean a lot. I'm not saying that it does. I'm saying that kid has options to keep himself busy and make a lot of money. He does. So irrespective of the politics at 147 or the world title picture, he's going to be a name because he already has one. He came into the game with a name, and he still has a name. And when he comes back, that's all people are going to be talking about anyway, just because of the fucking Peds. So, yeah, man.
Yeah, but you know, you said something about Conor, well, Conor, not Conor Benn, um, Tank Davis going back to Mayweather Promotions.
Oh yeah, yeah.
My question is this: like, why? Like, I mean, what is the incentive to go back? Now, of course, he's getting paid, you know, more money through his company and stuff like that, but your guarantee is still 1.5 on paper.
Mm-hmm.
That hasn't changed. Now, whatever you're getting on the mysterious back end is what you're getting. But my thing is like, what's the incentive? Like, you know, you sign back
What
to
was the
Mayweather Promotions
incentive
or
to
what?
leave, bro? What was the incentive to leave is the better question because, look, I looked at it and I'm like, okay, what could have been going on at Mayweather Promotions that left him so inclined to leave? And did he actually leave? And when I thought about it, you didn't leave. You're still on Showtime, right? Right. You're still with Heyman, right? Right.
Yeah.
So TGB or Mayweather Promotions, it's all the same fucking shit. Could Al Heyman convince Gervonta Davis to re-sign to Mayweather Promotions? And I say yes, absolutely. I think he could. I think he could convince him to do that. And I
But the thing
expect
is, the thing is, Jules, he just did 19,000 plus without Mayweather Promotions in DC. So what is the benefit of him like re-signing to them? Like I don't
negotiate a better deal. I mean, I don't see. This is the thing. Their situation is weird because his management does not stand apart from the company, and it's supposed to. Like that's how it's supposed to work. That if I'm coach's manager, it doesn't behoove me to toe the company line for Al Heyman. You know what I mean? Like I'm supposed to get my guy the best deal, whereas those guys they toe the company line for Al Heyman. You know, when Calvin Ford was asked about it, what he said in so many words was, well, it's all the same circle anyway. You know, that they're all Heyman guys, essentially. So I thought about that, and I'm like, well, then is it possible that he could re-sign to Mayweather? And it dawned on me, like, it's absolutely possible that he could, because you didn't really leave the nest. You didn't.
Yeah, well, Floyd Mayweather said it best. You know, he said that if you and a lot of people didn't like it, but he was telling the truth. I really believe him. He said, hey, there's no such thing as you're dealing with me and you're not dealing with Al. He said, if you're dealing with Al, you're dealing with me.
Mm-hmm.
I talk to Al Heyman every day. Me and Al Heyman are business partners. There's nothing that goes on with the PBC that I don't know, with PBC fighters that I don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
So whether my name is on the banner or not, you're still dealing with Mayweather.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? And he said
it's the same situation, irrespective of Leonard, which is the biggest difference. That, well, Leonard's not promoting the shows. All the same, his decorum didn't change. Gervonta Davis, his decorum didn't change, and the pool of fighters that he's drawing from, well, that didn't change either. It's the same shit. It's just the same shit. So
Yeah.
Is it possible that he goes back? I say yes, and I believe that in his very next fight, he could be a Mayweather Promotions fighter.
So then I get to see my dog Booger Ray on stage giving interviews. The question I have for you is this: if he resigns to Mayweather Promotions, will you see Floyd Mayweather at the press conference?
Probably not. Like I think that many of us for a long time, because it didn't dawn on me until 2 years ago, that Mayweather's not micromanaging, Maybe he goes to the Tank fight, maybe he doesn't, but he's not invested, for a lack of a better word. Leonard is his point man. He's not helicopter momming any of this shit. Leonard is supposed to take care of that business, and that's really a job for Leonard, and really that's Leonard's only job, like it looks like it, because who the fuck else are you promoting? What other shows are you doing throughout the year besides Gervonta Davis shows? We haven't seen a whole lot of you since he left. TGB promoted the last fight, not you. That's what it says on BoxRec. The registered promoter is Tom Brown. And outside of that, he doesn't seem to have a lot to do. So my best guess, this kid's going to go back to Mayweather. And Leonard needs something to do. He doesn't have nothing to do without Gervonta Davis. So he'll go back.
I mean, you hit the nail right on the head. That is facts. He doesn't have anything else to do. Tank is his only guy, and you can't tell me, like you said earlier, you can't tell me Rolly Romero is a star. Okay, if you feel he's a star, what fights do you have lined up for him that he's going to headline himself?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's the follow-up fight after he fought Tank? Tank has just had another fight. We haven't heard anything about Rolly fighting anyone.
Mm-hmm. He does have a fight en route. that I know. I don't know who he's fighting.
Talking about Rolly?
Yeah, he does. He does have a fight coming up. That's what somebody's told me. And in a nutshell, it's not even that he doesn't having a fight or not having a fight. It's that, let's be serious. You're not going to turn him into anything. He doesn't have the ability. Like, you're not going to. You can get him a title. He's gonna. But are you going to turn him into a draw? Sorry, no. That's not going to happen. Like, all jokes aside, no, he's not going to. No. Like, seriously, real boxing fans do not want to see him. Sorry.
I mean, bro, like, I mean, Rolly is in my opinion, he's a sideshow.
Yeah. He's like, I ain't trying to be fucked up, but I'm being real. Like, look, it's people that pay money to see boxing. It's people that pay money. Do they want to pay to see him? No. Fuck out of here. No. Fuck.
And to prove your point, they wasn't paying to see him prior to Tank Davis.
Exactly. That's the only time that we can say that he was in a fight. And look, for what it's worth, that fight did better numbers than the Isaac Cruz fight, because they didn't bother to report the numbers for the Isaac Cruz fight. Whereas with Rolly, they were proud enough to say this sold 275,000 pay-per-view buys or just in that neighborhood. But the fight before that, there was a gag order. Nobody wanted to release the number. After the Rolly fight, yeah, he did okay. But that was because you fought Tank, bro. Who else you gonna fight? Who else you gonna fight?
We don't know how confirmed those numbers are, because I don't think Rick Latham didn't say they did that.
I believe Rick for what it's worth. I believe Rick. Like when you hear 225, that really means 170, bro.
Yeah.
Really means.
Yeah, 170. You're right, because they do add on more. But again, Showtime won't release any numbers, and we still haven't heard anything about the numbers that he's done so far in the last fight. So it is what it is.
And it's been a week. It's been a week.
Rick said he'll find out Monday, but I'm surprised that Dan Rafael. I mean, I remember when Canelo fought Bivol, he came out 2-3 days later with the numbers. Dan Rafael, that's what he said, right? So Like what happened? He blocked me on Twitter because I asked him about it. I said, hey man, you was, and I was very respectful. I said, hey, you was very, very, you came out with Canelo numbers and Bivol numbers within 3 days. It's been 4 or 5 days. We haven't heard anything yet. It seemed like you have a double standard when it comes to numbers. Your sources haven't told you anything yet.
I'll tell you the truth that when he put that number out, before he put that number out, I was sent a number, and it ended up being the number that got put out. People don't want to believe it did a million. They just don't want to believe it. And that approximately 800,000 out of that million was in America, which I'm like, of course it was. Or the bulk of the buys are going to come from where his core fans are. That's right here. The other buys were scattered around in different markets, UK, Canada, whatever. That's where the other buys come from. But they don't want to believe that it was over a million. That's the number I was given before Dan said that. And I saw that Dan put that out there, and I'm like, I'll just say that the source that I got that number from is a very, very good source. Very good, very in tune with shit. They know people. When I saw the 5, I'm like, either this is partial intel or bad intel. I tend to lean towards bad intel because they're saying this thing sold 800,000 in America. You're saying it only sold 500,000. I know how this works. You don't know anybody at DAZN. They are their own distributor. You don't know anybody over there. So where would you have gotten that number? In all likelihood, what did happen is you probably spoke to Lenny and you probably got that number from him or somebody at Showtime. But you didn't get that number from DAZN. Moreover, you know how this works. They made an official press release. That means they have to stand on what they say. You don't get to lie when you make an official press release. No, you don't. They're saying we sold a little over a million. Yeah, I believe them because Showtime doesn't announce their numbers. They did. Showtime doesn't announce what they do for a pay-per-view. These guys do. So I'm sorry. I don't believe Dan. I don't believe none of that shit. Like, no, that's an official press release. That's not a source or a gossip or a rumor. They're telling you we sold over a million. Why can I believe it? Didn't he sell close to a million with John B? Yeah.
Yeah, John B. Yeah, yeah. I mean, and believe it or not, that fight with Canelo and Caleb Plant. I mean, that was a good fight. I really enjoyed that fight. I really did.
Yeah, it's a good, but it's like it's common sense that Gennady Golovkin. I'm not telling nobody to like him. I'm saying if Canelo can come close to a million with a Caleb Plant, and he can sell 500,000 with unknown Russian Korean guy, naturally, opposite the ring, a bigger name than them, he will sell more. It's common sense. Golovkin is still more well-known than the both of you. I saw the amount of people at the weigh-in. It's like, bro, they came out in droves for that shit, bro. Irrespective of whether you as an individual are excited, it's not just about you. That guy has a lot of fucking fans. You may not like it, but he does. He moves the needle. So naturally, like, yeah, I could believe. Like, it's not. In other words, it's not hard for me to believe. They're literally saying this is what it sold. Okay, I'll take it because I don't think that Dan Rafael knows more about DAZN's inner workings than DAZN, does he? No,
he doesn't. No, he doesn't. You know what I mean? You're right about that. Hey, Jules, I got to get up at 4, man. So
I'll let you, man. Good talking to you, man.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate you.
No problem. Now I'm going to post the link in the chat for everybody in the chitty chat. We're going to chop it up real quick, because you know. But yeah, like that whole ordeal, I said that then, and I'm like, bro, that dude don't know nobody at DAZN. You don't got no source at DAZN. You're being fed intel likely from DAZN's competitor, perhaps somebody at Showtime or Leonard, like Leonard Ellerby or somebody. Because I'm like, bro, who the fuck you know at DAZN to come up with that number? And that ain't the number. And that ain't the number that I was given. And my source is good. And
What's up, Jules? How's it going, man?
What's going on? My source is good. So I'm like, how come like nobody I know is giving me the number you saying? So that leads me to believe, yo, that's just bad intel, bro. Like, just like, for example, me and Drew was talking about this yesterday. here on the chat that like, yo, they're putting out hit pieces about the zone's 2021 metrics, and I'm like, where are the 2022 metrics? Because they had gains, very big gains in 2022, but you're talking about 2021. If you want to know or an accurate reflection of where the zone is right now, why would we be talking about metrics from 2021? And if you're going to report losses, how come you never report Showtime's losses? Because they have losses. I know that for a fact. You went from 35 million subscribers to 27. That's where you're at right now. You have lost millions of subscribers, and you're still losing more.
You know what they got to do, Jules? You got to do what you do when you gamble on your tax returns, man. Show me the gains and show me the losses.
Yeah.
Show me both.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what were you coming in late, Jules? What were you and Coach talking about? Like the Tank's pay-per-view numbers? What's going on? What have you heard?
Yeah, we were just talking about how Dan is eerily quiet about, Gervonta Davis's pay-per-view buys, but when it came to the Canelo Golovkin buys, he came out with that fraudulent number, and everybody ran with it. And yeah, it's a fraudulent number. It's a fraudulent number. Just trust me. It's bro, you don't know nobody over there, and they're their own distributor. You understand? They're doing their own thing. There's only so many ways you could have come across that number. A number, I should say, not that number, but a number. That number sounds made up. Yeah.
And so let's go with it. That his number he only has access to linear cable and satellite connections.
Exactly.
So if he got 500,000 from them, okay, 300,000 the Zone subscribers bought it from the app.
Because there was, thank you for reminding me of that, because I just remembered that it had two distributors. It had Barstool Sports and the DAZN platform. So I guess that maybe you came across the Barstool Sports number, and I'm giving you that because I would sooner believe that you were lied to deliberately.
Yeah. So one of the ways that he showed his ass was that once Eddie pointed out that it actually did 1 million buys, he was like, "Oh well, that's counting the buys from the countries abroad." Well, it's like, dude, it's closer to 80% of the domestic buys were up to the million, because the people in Europe aren't gonna fucking stay up that late just to watch that fight.
No, yeah, Eddie sunned him when he said, Dan, you really think we got 500,000 pay-per-view buys abroad?
Exactly. Eddie's the one who said that the majority of the buys came from the United States.
Yeah, 80%.
Exactly. And which is not hard to believe. I reiterate, if he could sell 800,000 pay-per-view buys with Caleb Plant, you don't think he can do better with Golovkin? Is your fucking head?
Do you remember what the Beevil numbers were? Because wasn't that also the 700,000?
No, Beevil was about 500,000, a little over 500,000.
What did Plant and Darrell do?
75,000, bro. That was the Wilder fight, bro. That was the Wilder fight.
Oh shit!
And I'm just saying that I believe that those are hit pieces because those same outlets, they don't report the losses for they don't report the losses for anybody else. But the fact that, and me and Drew keep up with this a lot, Showtime has big losses. They have big losses, and you don't report on them ever.
Yeah.
You don't even talk about the Showtime situation involving Bob Backish, Paramount, and potentially phasing them out, even though that's a real fucking story. But you don't talk about that.
If they're in debt, then most likely the parent company is going to be feeling the pinch. But yeah, Jules, they kind of now that you're not seeing all these numbers coming out from their side, they kind of treated it like it's classified information, when in fact you're kind of supposed to come out with them because you have investors.
Yeah.
Well, there is a reason why they do this, and again, I think we've mentioned this earlier on, but the reality is when you see a linear decrease on a graph, that tends to expedite that decrease even further. People, if they see it's going down, they tend to abandon ship even faster.
Thank you, Ivo, because you just characterized why I think they're writing hit pieces. They want hit pieces to serve as a deterrent for people to stay off the platform. And the problem is, honestly, hit pieces are not a substitute for content. Like, they're really not. When Canelo comes back, people are going to watch him. When Katie fights Amanda for a second time, people are going to watch it. When AJ comes back, people are going to watch it. There is no substitute for actual product. There's no
Now
substitute.
let me
Yeah, they're
say
trying to
this
polish a
too.
turd.
This is how stupid it is, though. Okay, they're trying to deter people from going on that platform, but if nobody's going on that platform, who the fuck is going to pay you money for international rights to distribute your fucking pay-per-views?
Exactly.
Real shit.
That makes no sense.
If you think about the catalog of fights, like I think about the catalog of fights that Showtime can put together, and I'm gonna be generous, and say, okay, you can do Plant versus Benavidez, you can do the Spence versus Thurman, then maybe the Spence versus Fundora later on in the year. You can do the Wilder versus Ruiz, and those are not big fights. There's only one fight that you can put on that's a big fight, but it's really only one, and I'm not kidding. It's only one. And it's not even, one of the fighters ain't even your fighter. It's Ryan. That's the only major fight they can put on. But AJ, he can have 2-3 major fights this year. Canelo, he can have 2 major fights this year. Katie, she can have 2 major fights this year. There's no substitute for content. There really isn't. And even the small shows, you look at a show like Lara versus Lee Wood, that's gonna do good, bro. That show will do better over there than any Jaron Ennis fight you could do over here. Any fight. That show over there, and it's a title fight. Let's compare it to a title fight that you do. Who wants to bet that more people would come out to support Lee Wood than they'd come out to support Stephen Fulton or Brandon Figueroa?
That's not a bet I'm willing to take.
I had a question. When did this hit piece come out? It came out like Thursday, huh? Thursday, Friday?
Yeah, it was either Wednesday or Thursday, and I saw it, and you know what? I just thought to myself, look, there are losses. Like, everybody suffered losses in 2021. That's what stood out to me. That, like, we were just coming out of the pandemic. It was the first year after the pandemic had started. So that there were losses is not even, like, that's not a big deal, because that's the same year they decided to recapitalize, right? That's when they got more money. Like, look, and they don't talk about that either, that they showed the investors there's growth, people are subscribing, so they decided to recapitalize. They don't present and they don't frame it that way. They'll say, oh, they lost billions and billions, like it's a boxing thing. You know that they lost billions buying the sports rights to other sports.
Yeah, and the reason these hit pieces started, we get people talking about this and not asking about Tank's pay-per-view numbers.
I think it's exactly how Ivo said it. They present you with bad news in the hopes that it will deter you from subscribing to the platform, and that's farce, because there's no substitute for content. People can say whatever they want right now. When Lee Wood fights Mauricio Lara, people are going to watch it. When Anthony Joshua comes back, I don't care who it's against, people are going to watch it. When Katie and Amanda fight again, when Canelo comes, there's no substitute for that. So you can put out these shitty little stories and it'll seem cute in the moment, but once the fights are made and it's the day of, people are going to watch them shits. And you know what they're not going to watch? Brandon Figueroa versus Mark Magsayo. Nobody gives a point.
Yeah, it's a terrible attempt at corporate sabotage.
Look, it's like this. Is there a card on Showtime that'll be bigger than KSI, Jake Paul?
No. Bro, look, yesterday they did another Misfits show. You know that I don't really watch them, but you can't deny the success that they're having. They're having success with that stuff. They're having more success with that than you had promoting Jake Paul fights. Stop me when I tell a lie. Why do you think Jake Paul's not on Showtime anymore? Why do you think he went over to PFL? Because PFL's in bed with ESPN? It's not hard to put it together, folks. If it was good over there, then he'd still be over there. They're having more success doing influencer shows than you are.
Also, Logan Paul and his brother are involved into big crypto scams too.
También.
Yeah, they're all over the place with that.
I'm happy.
Jules, Jules, Johnny Fisher beats Daniel Dubois. Tell me if I'm telling a lie.
I mean, honestly, Daniel looked terrible, bro.
Damn,
Like,
don't get me started, man.
Hey, Jules, can you imagine a world where, like, say, when Fisher, built up obviously more experience, he's up there, and they make that fight, he ends up beating the boy, and he's actually a champion. Oh my God, the
well,
chaos.
the thing is
Jules,
that Johnny
Jules.
Fisher, the other thing about one at a time, Johnny Fisher has the following that Daniel Dubois never had. They travel to support that kid, bro. Like, his fans, he got like a whole town of motherfuckers that travel to see him fight.
Yeah, they come. Imagine, like, they do that shit somewhere where he's from. They sell out, and he beats them. What?
Bro,
I got a question for the panel.
Hey, Jules, real quick. Who do you
now-
think is the PFL's distributor in 53 countries and the UK?
the zone.
The zone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I have an answer for that. Is there
Goddamn Jeff Bezos listening in on everyone's conversations.
That's
Word.
my Apple Watch.
Okay. Now, how long before we see Danny Dubois hold a spit bucket for his sister?
I mean,
Man, stop the slander. This is my hot take.
Oh.
I genuinely believe that Dubois is going to still be a legitimate contender in the future.
I just look, being real, if the shots that he got hit with by Kevin Lorena, if those shots were coming from an Joghba or a Makhmudov, I don't think he gets up, Julio. I don't think he gets up,
Right,
bro, to be
but
real.
A Joghba also got dropped by a cruiserweight. Like,
No,
you know,
no, he got dropped by Khalid, didn't he?
Frank
Yeah,
Sanchez.
Khalid was
he
a
got jumped with
cruiserweight.
Frank. Wait, how
All
is he
right,
a
well, I'll
cruiserweight?
tell you
not
what.
cruiserweight?
I'll tell you
No,
what.
he's a heavyweight.
I'll tell you what. Just let's play devil's advocate. They both were dropped. But whose was worse?
Oh,
Whose was
Dubois,
worse?
but he's not the only one who's been
don't
dropped
see
in
it, bro.
heavyweight division.
I don't see it, bro. I don't see it. Like, nah, he don't got it, bro.
Yeah, hey, they better keep him away from Big Bang, man, because that Big Bang beats him. And they were to fight today or whatever next year, that Chinese heavyweight, he beats him.
I'll say that the Joghba that I saw yesterday, as bored as people were, and I understand why they were bored, like I was bored, but that jab, Daniel don't make it past that jab. He won't. Absolutely not. He won't. He would lose that fight. He might lose it on points, or he walks into a big shot. Because what saved Shaw was he was moving lateral. He was moving side to side and trying to find a way around the jab. He couldn't because of the height differential and the reach differential. Whereas Daniel's more aggressive. He's going to try to step into his jab and come forward. And it's either he's going to jab your head off because you don't move it, or he's going to bring over a right and you're going to walk into it and you're going to go out. I would pick a Joghba safely to beat Daniel Dubois. So, nah, son. He don't got it.
Hey, I was gonna say I didn't get to stay around for yesterday's live, but goddamn, God bless Six Figure Johnny. God bless Six Figure Johnny,
Johnny
man.
Rice, 6 figures.
Johnny Rice, man.
Give me
You can't get mad at it, bro. He don't come to lose, bro. You can't get mad at that.
I love 6 Figure Johnny, man. I don't care if he got 6 losses, man. He's practically the new Derek Chisora. He's only lost to good people. He ain't lost to no
make that
bums.
fight. Yo, make that fight. Chisora versus Rice. Who would be down for that?
What I really want, because Johnny is who he is. And shout out to the guys like Johnny that don't get enough respect, because boxing is built off their back more than anything. I need Anderson versus Johnny Rice, bro.
That'd be a good fight.
I need that. That's a real ass, because Johnny don't he not there to lay down, bro. Like, he really not. So
Johnny looked in shape, man, because in his other fights he looked kind of fat. He looked in shape in that last fight.
Yeah, Rick, people talk shit about AJ fighting that Australian, but guess what? That Australian stopped Rice. The Dempsey McKean guy.
He stopped Johnny?
Yeah, he did. They fought. I watched the fight. That's what I'm saying. Man. People turn like I think that's why Max was signed him, because of that. Like, if people talk shit about his opponent, but I'm like, yo, if Joshua fights him, that's a dangerous opponent, because he southpaw 6'7".
The other thing is, look, motherfuckers sat there and watched Wilder fight a sparring partner, and I didn't even listen to other shit. I didn't complain. I said, look, that man been through 2 hard fights, 2 hard knockouts. I'm okay with it. Like, I'm not even gonna criticize him for fighting Hellenius. But if y'all cool with him versus Hellenius, ain't nothing wrong with Dempsey McCain. Ain't nothing wrong with Zile Zhang, and ain't nothing wrong with Otto Verlin. I'm cool. Like I like any one of those. Like I'm cool with any one of those. That's
I mean, shit. Johnny only lost. Like, think about who he lost to, right? He lost to Tony Yoka, right? He lost to Stephen Shaw.
Joghba.
He lost to Aslanbek Mahmoudal. Yeah, he lost to a Joghba, and he lost to Dempsey McCain. Like, those are not bad names in any way, shape, or form.
And he's been beating undefeated fighters. Like, I think
he's fun. Like, he's not bad.
His last few
what
opponents
about
only had one
him and
loss.
Zhang, man, that would be a good one.
Oh, I got Zhang winning that. Zhang, that would be a good, if they could headline that somewhere or a good co-main event, that would be fire.
Yeah, like everybody gets super critical. Tyson Fury gets to pick Derek Chisora for the third time. Wilder gets to pick a sparring partner, but everybody wants to clutch at their pearls if Anthony Joshua fight. Like, man, get the fuck out of here, bro. Pick who the fuck you want and go with it.
It's a tune-up to a
And if it
tune-up.
turns out to be Dempsey McCain, that's not a tune-up.
Well, damn sure ain't. That's the other thing. That's the unbeaten up-and-comer and a southpaw. That's not a tune-up fight.
These fights, like these smaller fights, are what distinguish boxing fans from fanboys, because real talk, fanboys only know 6 fighters, right? They'll know 6 fighters and everyone else is a bum.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way. That's their arguments in a nutshell. And I just can't imagine being a boxing fan and only knowing 6 fucking fighters.
Go ahead, Jose.
Let's say if AJ doesn't fight a championship level fight anymore, will you be mad at that with the resume that he has?
No.
Like, if he only fights contenders, like let's say like the next, he fights Joyce, he fights Dubois, he fights
Ponlo tú así, manín, ponlo tú así. Vamos a decir que, let's just say que he goes the rest of his career, ¿verdad? No pelea con Tyson Fury y ya Usyk, he already beat him. If you told me that AJ goes on to fight Hrgovic, Dubois, Yoka, Joyce, yeah, that's still a great resume, especially if he beats them, because those Yoka's a gold.
Yeah, bro.
Yoka's
Hrgovic was the boogeyman.
Yoka's a gold medalist. Joyce is a silver medalist. Hrgovic is a bronze medalist. If he fight like those, is not. I don't look at.
How about Zhang? How about Zhang?
No, Zhang too. Like, that's what I'm saying. That there's a pool of heavyweights out there. There's enough there that if he fought them, let's say Zhang, Joyce, Yoka, Hrgovic, Ditchko, did I say Joyce?
Wallace.
Did you say Jalolov?
Jalolov, well, I'll be real. Jalolov is a problem. He's like, just being real. He's a
fucking problem. Yeah,
I thought we were just talking about good fights.
He's like Usyk, Fury, and AJ in one fighter.
He's a problem.
Man, your hyping is like man, like I like. I'm
just saying. I'm just keeping it real. That like those are the fights that I mentioned. I mentioned them not just because they're good fighters, but because they're doable. I can name 10 people that are contenders that they would all make fights. Or like Makhmudov. Could he beat Makhmudov?
Yeah, he could beat Makhmudov. He can beat him, bro.
He can beat Makhmudov, bro. Like Makhmudov has a move and that's it. Bakoli, look, I'll be real with you. That dude hit like somebody's grandfather, bro. Like that dude has
gotten better since then.
Bro, there's a lot of fights that AJ could win, bro. AJ could literally. Bro, he could fight all those names, make big money fights, like you said, Zhang, Yoka.
Yeah, because remember what the question was. Remember what the question was. If he doesn't fight for a title, which by the way, I think that he will fight for a title, but AJ's. I believe he needs to be a little bit more selfish, which is like I kind of get the sense that Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua, they're kind of people pleasers, that you feel pressured to oblige Wilder. Wilder was not pressured by anyone to oblige you. Even after Shelly Finkel told the world, Eddie emailed me, but I ignored him. Wilder said, we're busy. He literally said, my thing is, we're busy. If they could do that, you need to be of that same mentality that, all right, bro, when they ask me about you, I'm going to pull up the shit you said. I'm going to pull up that you ignored me. I'm going to pull up that Wilder said he was busy. Now we busy, bro. Do your thing, bro. Do your thing. Remember, we could have fought a long time ago. You told me A, B, C, and D. I don't have time for this. It's much easier to people that's out there, which is I don't understand why they don't just come out with it, because it's enough there that if it's me, bro, you not even gonna want to mention me no more, because I'm gonna pull up what you said. You acknowledged that I emailed you, that I was trying to get the ball rolling, and you said you ignored the email. It's verbatim. I'm not making it.
Yo, Ray, you know what's crazy, bro? Wilder would fight guys like Babyface and guys like
man, the problem is Joshua's too quiet, bro. Joshua's too
keep-
quiet and he takes too much shit, man. He
Eso es lo que es, que ellos le dan tanta vaina a ese muchacho. And I'm like, bro, there's 10 people. I am not exaggerating. I can name 10 people off the top of my head that you could fight, and every single one of those fights would make money. Every single one. That if the goal for this year is to keep you more active, you have so much more to choose from than Wilder. So you should look at this 38-year-old Wilder and say, yo, blow a dick, bro. Blow a fucking dick.
A-side the fuck out of him, man.
We offered you $100 million, did we not? And you said we offered you more money than Fury. What did you choose? I don't understand why they don't do this, because I'm like, bro, it's not perspectives and opinions. You said we offered you more money. Yeah, I know. And then when we contacted you late last year, right before your fight, when we was trying to holler at you, right? You said you was busy. And Shelly ignored us. So what you think? We gonna stop everything we doing for you? Eat a dick, my God. Go fight fucking Andy Ruiz, bro. And go fight fucking Frankie Nobody after that, bro. Get the fuck out of my face.
I wish AJ would act like he has.
He's not gonna fight Frankie Nobody.
He needs to understand that he has the leverage.
Bro, he's not gonna fight Frankie Nobody, man. He knows that's a hard style. He's not gonna. They're gonna keep him away from Frankie Nobody. You ever hear his fanboys? Bro, we should fight Frank. I'm like, y'all some bitch.
But that's the other shit. That's the other shit that it's like, yo, look, it ain't like it ain't nobody over there. You got Ali Demireza. You got motherfucking
Babyface.
Andy Ruiz. You got Adam Kovnowski. Go ahead, do your thing, bro. Because for the longest time, you know what I ain't forget? You say you don't need us. Remember?
Right. Hey. Only the green belt mattered.
Only the green belt. All right, so go do your thing, bro. You don't need us. What you need with us? And right. What I think Eddie Hearn doesn't understand is that people are even good. You can make the fight with Wilder. You can make the fight. You know they're still going to criticize you, right?
Yeah, because you took like, too long to make.
For real, they're gonna be like, "Oh, you're fighting him now that he got knocked out by Fury and
exactly." What they don't understand is that there's people that no matter what you do, they're gonna keep that shit. So stop trying to please them. Here's what we know: it don't matter who AJ fight. People are gonna watch it. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter who he fights. It could be Zhang. It could be Valine. It don't matter. You need to operate on that premise that look. We both in a similar place. You got L's, I got L's. You used to be a champion, I used to be a champion. When I get out there, though, it's worth this. When you get out there, it's worth that. Eat a dick, bro. Fuck out my face. Eat a dick.
Hey, man, I hope he A-sides him, man. Please A-side that motherfucker.
Because when people look back, you know what they not going to see? They not going to see AJ saying, yeah, they offered. No. They're going to see you saying, yo, they offered me more money to fight AJ than they offered me to fight you.
And you know what's curious?
Dickhead?
You know what's curious, Jules? That AJ is the guy that everybody talks shit about, but everybody comes consequent to when it comes to fighting, because Fury was talking shit all over the place. You know, I'm going to fight you, did this and that. But what AJ did, he offered him money. We're going to sign right here and see you in, I think it was December or something like that. Mm-hmm. And what he did, no, Wilder, the same story. So
the only one that
people about him, but nobody wants to fight him for real.
The only one that people are going to look back in history, and that story is not told yet. If Fury beats Usyk, then AJ Fury. If Usyk beats Fury, Fury's out of here. Fury's out of here. He won't. Fury's out of here. And AJ, he's younger than Fury. Like, people don't realize shit like that. And like, yo, I need to kidnap that dude, right? And talk to him. Like, yo, you need to stop acting like a bitch. For real, my guy. Like, you acting like a bitch. You're worth a lot of fucking money. All right, fuck some of these hoes. Go to Texas, get some of them fat old asses, cause it's big old asses in Texas. Get you some American pussy and stop acting like a bitch. These guys, 90% of these guys can't beat you. 90% of these guys can't beat you, bro.
You're right, because AJ is around the same age as Errol Spence, like 31.
No, la verdad. 90%.
Same age as Canelo, right?
Yeah, 33, bro. And these guys, I'm looking at these guys like, look, Makhmudov. AJ could beat Makhmudov, bro. Yes, he could beat Makhmudov.
That's an easy lick, bro. You know, he's a big bro. They do that fight in Canada. Holy shit. They could, bro.
Man,
he could beat Dempsey McKean out over Link. I guarantee you he'll knock out all.
I think he could beat Joe Joyce. I think, bro, Joyce would make AJ look like
Joe Joyce.
He'd make him look like Teofilo Stevenson, bro.
Yo,
like no disrespect to Joyce.
Joyce is Ring. You know what's crazy? Joshua beat Zane, Wallen, Ditchko, all in the amateurs. Like Ditchko wants to fight him. That could be like, you know, they could build that up. Ditchko is fun to watch.
But see, I would do. See, Eddie, call me, bro. I would do the sucker shit. Man, fuck Fury, right? Fuck Fury, eat a fucking dick, bro. You old news, bro. You Klitschko era. I ain't even worried about you no more. Stop talking about me. Bang. This is what I do. I start hyping up long eyelashes Joe Joyce, right? For 2024. I start hyping him up. Like, man, Joe Joyce is a bitch. He could eat mad fucking different types of dicks. You can't beat me, bitch. If I'm on my shit, I start talking like that, bang. And I start building that. Why? Motherfucker, you are 37 going on 38. We will whoop your ass out here, bro. You know what I mean? By the time next year get here, what you think? You going to be faster? You know what I mean? And
hey, Jules,
wait. I turn that into the big UK fight because I promise you, if you did AJ versus Joyce now in the UK, that's big. If you do it next year, it's huge. And AJ can beat him.
What do you think about Joyce and Makhmudov?
I would pick Makhmudov. I mean, no, I would pick Joyce. He's better on the inside.
Here's the thing, though. Makhmudov is fun to watch. The only reason I would choose him because he has like it seems like he's starting to grow a following in Canada. It seems like there's.
You would pick him to beat Joe Joyce? I wouldn't.
No. I'll pick. I'm just saying that shit would be fun to watch while it lasts. Like, don't get it twisted. That ugly looking motherfucker is fun to watch, but
I'm saying that if it was next, and we know it's not going to be next, but let's just say they did it right next. The reason I would pick Joyce is because he has inside game, and he already has a jab. We know that, and he has a right hand. We know that, but he has more than that. Makhmudov only has a jab and a right hand. That's it. All fucking day. You see, Takam is literally leaning and getting under the right. He keep doing it. All the same shit. Like, nah, son. Like, nah, B. Like, I thought better of you than that. And you actually hurt Takam, which is what kills me. You actually hurt him, but he just all night. I would pick Joyce to beat him.
That's something he has to work on with experience, sadly. That's something he'll have to work on.
But the thing is, bro, I want that dude because he's fun to watch. So, like, well, last I don't know. He's very athletic though. That ugly looking motherfucker.
He has good feet. He has good feet. I always give him for a dude his size. He's bouncy. He's bouncy. You would think.
Yo, Ring, do you give him the best looks award or no?
No, I give him the best looking award. He's the best looking Canadian Russian heavyweight.
Bro, it's
such a low.
He's the best looking. He's the best looking Hills Have Eyes mutant.
Yo.
Nah. Jokes aside, there's like 15 Arslanbek Makhmudovs that come by my area every other weekend. Like they all like. This is not even being racist, but like all those guys from that side of the street, they have the same unibrow.
Where do you live?
He's a John Wick.
Where?
He's the best looking John Wick henchman.
I live in a Ukrainian Russian community, so there's a lot of Makhmudovs.
Oh,
in the area.
Is that in the Midwest or where?
No, I'm in Cali right now.
Oh, what?
No, but you gotta understand. Cali is like secret code in Ukrainian for like all Ukrainians over here. There's a hell of us over here.
There's a lot of you. No, I'm good because I noticed that like different boxers I follow in the Ukraine. They're all in California.
Yeah.
They're Ukrainian. They're all
Yeah, you know how to
It's
keep
so
the
weird that
system
all
running.
the hours in California.
They all live in the
decided
same
to
hood as
shack up in
Lomachenko.
Oxnard. Like, what are you doing there? Like Loma
Right,
That's what
Hernandez? What's up
happened.
with that?
Getting some win and
right
some
down the
IG
street,
models,
there's
man.
a huge church, and I'm pretty sure it's all Ukrainian.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they all go over there. But in a nutshell, what agitates me about Eddie Hearn and the way that he handles the questions about Anthony Joshua is he treats everything like he's stepping on eggshells, and I already know why he's doing it. You don't want to make it seem like you're averse to certain things, even though when they asked Shelly Finkel about AJ and the emails, he said outright he ignored you. But you got to step on eggshells, though. But he could say in plain English, yeah, I ignored them shits because we not doing that right now. And nobody says boo. Nobody says nothing. Like, yo, you know what? I would tell Wilder, yo, my guy, you know what? Blow a 6'7" size dick, bro. Your opportunity is gone, my guy.
But also, like, what leverage does Showtime even have in this scenario anymore? Like, you can argue that when they try to keep Wilder on their platform, that was like one of the final nails in the coffin. If it does come out that like Showtime has to, contract even further, like, what leverage do you have here?
They have none. And that's why a part of me believes that, you know what, maybe Shelly and Wilder are serious this time because he is older. Who cares about the world titles anymore? He doesn't, because really, you don't get more money fighting Usyk than you would fighting AJ. And if Fury wins again, we know you don't want to have to go through that again. It'll fuck you up again, even worse. So the AJ fight might be a priority. But then I'm like, well, too little, too late, motherfucker. Too little, too late.
And they have to do it because, like, they're not going to do another Brazil situation. Like, they're not going to pay him that again.
People
like,
not paying to see you, bro. They just put you on pay-per-view, and we talked about this yesterday. I really thought he was going to do well on pay-per-view, like at least 300 thou. Bro, you saw
terrible.
They're horrible.
Yo, Ray, I'm gonna go right here and say it, bro. If he does with Reese, that would be more of Reese, because Reese seems like he's been more active. He like if the pay-per-view does well, it'll be because of Reese, not Wilder.
Ponlo tú así. Wilder was just out there by himself, ¿verdad? He was out there by himself, 75,000, and he was the sales pitch. So if you add Ruiz, y vamos a decir que hace 375 o 300, esos son mexicanos. Esos son mexicanos comprando esa pelea.
I don't want to say it, but I don't want, bro. You already know.
No, pero la verdad, if you was just out here, and all you did was between 75 and 77, y después ponen el gordito, a eso el gordito que vendió todos esos pay-per-view.
Bro, and then watch, hey, Ray, and watch retarded Wilder fans. He's the A side to Joshua because of that pay-per-view. But they were fighting for the Hellenians. That's the shit they say, bro. Ray knows they'll say it.
Bro, they should never give him an opportunity, bro. They should never fight that guy ever, bro.
Here's the only difference. Polo, the only difference is that that particular era of Wilder fans, they are like 2020 Wilder fans. They're not present right now. They've all kind of died off. Yeah. They don't have the nourishment to survive. The reality is, if you put Ruiz, like for example, Ruiz versus Ortiz did abysmal numbers. You look at Wilder by himself, abysmal. Even if you multiply the pay-per-views together, you're only gonna get like 200,000,
literally
300,000. No. The thing is, the gate did actually pretty well, and when he fought Ortiz, it was pretty
pay-per-views what's gonna hurt. But
this is the thing. This is the real problem that I see with Eddie. See, the other guys, they're not playing by the rules. Shelly Finkel, Al Heyman, even Bob Arum, he's not playing by the rules. Eddie keeps trying to play by the rules. That's what I see. You don't want to just come out and say, "Hey, eat a fucking dick, bitch." Like, my guy, you're not a priority. You don't understand that? You don't understand that. You are not important. Wasn't you just on pay-per-view what you sold?
No,
what did you sell?
Take it a different angle.
And this is because I got to get it out. This has always been my problem with how Eddie Hearn handles Deontay Wilder. You was never it, bro. Every time we made you an offer, it was worth more than you are. Now, you done already got your ass beat and your belt took, bro. All of that already happened. What the fuck you still talk? Go fight Ruiz, motherfucker. See if you could do better. Then come back and holler at us. Because our schedule is not around you. You're not worth no money. And I know that people wouldn't like if he said that. But like I said, if it's me, you're not worth no money. 75,000 in America is 330-something million people in your country. Where are your supporters?
Yeah, that's pathetic.
It's fucking pathetic. So you think you could talk shit to us? We might have lost the last 2 times. We sold over 1 million every single one of those fights. You ain't even sell 1 million getting your ass beat by Fury the 3rd time, and you ain't even come close to sniffing 1 million in your last fight. Stop talking about us, B.
And you were stupid enough to turn down $100+ million offer from us for a 3-fight deal to fight AJ. On top of it all,
all you did was bankrupt your promoter.
Well, take it from the aspect where what do we gain by actually fighting you? It's not money. So you wouldn't even take that approach. You'd be like, if we beat you, we don't go for a belt. If we beat you, we don't improve our standings outside the WBC. But if we wanted the WBC belt, I bet you $5 Fury wanted.
Bro,
if they beat him,
I want to say this. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, if they beat him,
go ahead, bro.
If they beat him, what are people gonna say? Oh, well, Fury ruined it. All right, then there's no point in us doing this.
Exactly. It's an irrelevant fight. Realistically speaking, Wilder is irrelevant to the current division. That's the God's honest truth. And that's why.
Now, here's a real super fight. A real super fight that real people, not dickheads and dick eaters on social media, a real super fight is Joshua Joyce. That's a real super fight. That if you do that in the UK, if you do that, people will die watching that shit. In the audience, they'll be dying. Heart attacks.
It's their Ali Foreman.
Thrombosis and shit like that. They'll fucking die, bro. That's a real fight. Because you got to stop thinking that because motherfuckers do a video. Listen, these channels have more subscribers than Wilder had pay-per-view purchasers for his last fight. Stop wasting your time with him and his bum-ass fans. There's not that many of them. Sorry.
Funniest shit I heard yesterday was with that one guy. I forget his name, but he said, think about it from this perspective. Wilder's pay-per-view number showed up to one Canelo fight.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, shit. And if it's Tay Jones that is the latest one that's complaining about, oh, well, we're kind of, Charlie Finkel's trying to run him down. I'm like, bro, it's because you're trying to. Are they serious about cashing him out? Really? No, I don't think they are. Because listen, even if Joshua beats him now, it's over bragging rights from 2016. That's how earliest I wanted to see that fight. Like,
I'll tell you the truth. Wilder versus Joshua here today. Of course, it could make money, but you're just like to the point that Virtuoso made. You're trying to settle unsettled, unfinished business that doesn't matter anymore. The only reason Wilder versus AJ mattered was because of its relevance to Undisputed in the 4-belt era. That dream is dead. It is dead. And where people might look at you crazy, and this is where I think Eddie Hearn is short-sighted, where you feel pressured over a Wilder fight that never happened, you do realize that people would quickly forget about Wilder if you beat Joe Joyce. And that's a real money fight in the UK. Wilder is most of the money and most of the finance for Wilder versus AJ. You know where it's going to come from? People that pay to see AJ. That's where it would come from. Don't you notice that when Wilder's on his own, he never does shit? They put you out there with Ortiz for a second time, remember? You were the selling point. What did it sell? Nothing. They just put you out there again. You were the selling point. Not you and someone else, you. What did it sell? Nothing.
A bucket of chicken
and they keep
wings.
referring to this gate, right? This gate revenue. Bro, the only venue you do is the Barclays Center, bro. Move out of that place.
For real. So I'm thinking like Eddie Hearn, maybe he feels in here that he feels some type of way that he never got to do that fight. But I should kidnap the both of these fucking guys, lock them in a basement and tell them, yo, if you don't stop with this Wilder shit, I'm going to blow your fucking brains out.
Terrorist threats.
I gotta go where he live in Oxford or some like, yo, I'm gonna kidnap this guy. Like, yo, if you don't stop with this Wilder shit, bro, I'm gonna fucking blow all your noodles out your head, bro.
Watch it, Jules. The FBI.
Why can't you get an interview with Eddie? Do you
I never asked.
Bro, why not?
I don't know. I should. Do you know how much? Listen. I'm gonna tell you what. Like, I did a Serrano interview about 2 weeks ago. I made from talking to Amanda for about a grand total of 20 minutes. I talked to her. I made well over 100 with that.
Nice.
Didn't last longer than I was on for like 15 minutes waiting for her to jump on, and then I spoke to Amanda for about 20 minutes. And I'm like, any Ebony Bridges Q&A I do, because there's the playback, and then there are the super chats, and then there are the commercials that run during the live, that before you even get to see the live, there are commercials playing. Anytime I do a Q&A with either Ebony Bridges or Alicia Baumgartner, oh my God, the money's great. The money's great. So I figure if I do a Q&A with fucking Eddie Hearn, I might make $1,000 off of one live.
You might.
Nah, forget that. I want to see you with Katie Taylor, bro. Give me that Katie
bro.
Taylor.
Nah, I'm too big a fan, bro. I'm too big a fan. Like,
I know, but I would
I'm gonna end up scaring Katie, giving her the googly eyes on the live.
He'll have a heart attack, bro. He's gonna have a heart attack.
Oh God! I have a heart attack, bro. Like I'm like, oh my God, Katie Taylor.
We need the relay to keep rolling.
For real, like I get like I don't get starstruck. Like I met Jennifer Connelly, I met Katie Holmes, I met a lot of people. I don't get starstruck off of like them, but actual people whose careers out, yeah, I get starstruck, bro. Like, oh my God, Katie Taylor. I don't do that.
Don't ever do that voice again, man. I've lost all respect that built up to you in 4.5 years, man. Don't do that.
So look, I'm like, I would try. But I would need to format the questions because I don't want to waste the guy's time. Very busy guy. I don't want to waste his time. But I do need to kidnap him and threaten his life because you got to stop with this. You know that Wilder's only relevant right now because of you? And I don't think he understands because he's so used to being on the other side of the business that he doesn't know what it looks like on the ground. That you know that Wilder's literally only relevant right now. The only relevance of Wilder is the relevance that you're giving him, because outside of that, what they have for him, nobody cares. Nobody cares. And the more you entertain him, the more relevant you keep him. When, look, I know you're in the business of making money. I know you are. And I'm telling you that I would sooner build up a Joe Joyce UK brawl for it all with real people that spend real money than waste time on these bums.
I have a better solution. Hear me out, Jules. Right? Think about him. AJ versus Daniel Dubois, sponsored by the Hospital for Mentally Disabled Children. Think about it, right? So think about it. I don't laugh, okay? Look, this could be a charity fight. Bring about awareness for Daniel Dubois' condition. Think about it, man.
Listen, bro. But all jokes is from a real fiscal perspective. No comedic relief. Seriously, Joe Joyce versus Anthony Joshua can be billed to be a fight here and now of equal or greater value than Wilder is worth right now. And I really don't think that Eddie Hearn understands that. That you kind of maybe feel like unfinished business and all the hype that you saw in 2018, 2019 at the height of the fight's popularity. And what you don't get, or what you're not getting, is that Wilder has lost a lot of value. You're wasting your time. Stop bothering with him and the remaining faction of bum-ass fans he has. They don't matter. If you don't entertain him, I don't know what he's going to do. I don't even care, bro, to be real with you. I'm like Polo. If you did Wilder versus Ruiz, and Wilder versus Ruiz went on to do 300,000 buys, I'm gonna assume that esos son Chicano y Mexicano comprando esa pelea. It's not Wilder's fans, because y'all just had the chance to buy his fight and y'all didn't buy it.
All right, if Ruiz wins that, what about the trilogy? Wouldn't that be huge?
That's some money.
Hell yeah.
That's
hell
some money.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
That
shit would do.
If other than Ruiz, who the hell else does Wilder have to even go against?
No one, country. No one. You think he's going to
wait, hold on. You're telling me Wilder versus Ali Demirezin is a blockbuster fight?
I'm sorry.
Hell no.
I don't think it is, bro.
Sorry to let you know.
I say put Six-Figure Johnny in there, man. He deserves more fights. Put him in there.
No, but in all seriousness, and it's annoying because this is the thing about these guys, right? All right, everybody else is serious, and I see that. Everybody else is serious. Like, being real, do I think Joe Joyce really wants a AJ fight? Yes. Moreover, do I think he earned it? Yes. I actually believe you earned that fight. And a lot of these other guys, I believe, no, these are serious professionals. They're not shysters. They're fighting men, and they're here to fight. And because they're not going to waste anybody's time pretending to be something that they're not so they can game the system. Yeah, I don't have time for that shit, bro. I'm a customer. I pay for fights. With you wasted about 3 years of the consumer's time, maybe more, with your ego and your bullshit. And the whole time I knew this guy is not worth that money. Like, no, you're not. You're not worth that money.
Yo,
Are you
Ray,
talking about
Ray.
Wilder who wasted people?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro.
Man, he didn't even. Ray. In ideal world, I like the White fight, but before, who would you like White to fight in the meantime? Like, for some
I
reason,
gotta address Richie. Yo, Richie, check this shit out. It's not my fault that Wilder fooled you. You don't know shit about boxing. If you think Wilder is this and that, why he only sold 75,000 buys? Did you buy the fight? Answer that question, Richie. Answer that question, Richie. Did you buy Wilder versus Hellenius? If you didn't, then you're the person I'm talking about. Online fans that don't buy fights. You know what you're worth? Motherfucker, hey, bro, he in my comments hyping up Wilder. I just want to know if he bought Wilder's fight.
Drop the link, because you know that link brings the bitch out of people.
Oh yeah, let's go. Let's post it.
I have to ask: is he one of the 0.0007% of people who actually bought that fight?
I mean, I'm 100% sure that he didn't buy the fight, because people say anything on the internet. I can show you receipts of fights that I bought, and I can pull them up like that because they send them to your email. So if I ask you to produce a receipt, it should be fairly simple. When I buy a Showtime pay-per-view, they send me a receipt. When I buy a Fox pay-per-view, they send me a receipt. If I buy a fight on FITE, FITE, they send me a receipt. These are not hard things to produce. So if you bought that fight, what I want you to do, jump on here, go to your email, show me that you bought the fight. Because I could show you the fights that I bought. I post the receipts all the time. You bought that fight.
I'm pretty sure his dog ate his receipt.
No need to lie. Okay then, Richie. Show me that you bought the fight. I'm not asking you to do anything that I wouldn't do myself.
I have a confession to make, Jules. I haven't bought any of the PBC fights. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry.
How could you?
Crack streams lost Hellenius.
I'm sorry, man. Look,
how could you?
I know, man. What kind of boxing fan wouldn't buy such fights like Ruiz versus Ortiz? I'm sorry. Look, I wanted to buy the Hector Garcia fight, but then deep down, my wallet came to me in my time of need and said, "Just burn that money."
Thorman versus Barrios? You didn't buy Thorman versus Barrios?
Listen, man.
It was a hard
I need Eddie. Call me, Eddie, and let's just cut the fucking crap, all right? Joyce versus Joshua. Forget about Fury. I would say this. Forget about Joshua and Fury. Forget about it. Just forget it. Maybe Usyk is going to beat him. And I say this because I don't know, but maybe Usyk beats him. If he does, don't give him the satisfaction. If Usyk beats him, don't give him the satisfaction. What Fury did for the last 3 years instead of fighting you, it's ridiculous. It really is. You had a choice. When you came back, you had the choice of fighting AJ or fighting Wilder. You chose Wilder. Is that not the truth? You had a choice. They offered you AJ. You chose Wilder. All right, then. Live with your decision. Oh, people aren't going to like AJ for it? People already don't like AJ. It's the same people, the Fury fans. You're not going to turn them into AJ fans. When you realize that, you'll stop walking on eggshells.
They don't matter because they're like a 0.7% of boxing fans.
Exactly. Doesn't make sense. Where are you in the chat, bro?
He's right underneath under a microscope who says, why would he have to post shit? It's pointless.
Bro, just click the link, bro. You don't have to lie. Just click the link. Click the link and I'll let you on and we can hash it out.
Yo, Jules, anything on the Benavidez plant fight? Like when?
March. That's what I
that's
saw.
Going to be a better fight than we think, man.
I think that doesn't belong on pay-per-view.
I hope not, but I mean,
as it is right now.
Remember, look at all the things that are happening at or around that time. You're gonna have in April Thurman versus Spence on pay-per-view. Garcia versus Davis on pay-per-view. Cinco de Mayo, Canelo on pay-per-view. What else? What else are they doing for May? Right, Haney versus Lomachenko pay-per-view. Bruh, could we get a break? The fuck?
Well, you know, Jules, there was a time where this fight could have been a pay-per-view fight back when they both had belts, but as it stands right now, again, this is one thing I mentioned before the Hector Garcia fight, and it's again, Showtime PBC genius. Lower your fans' expectations to the point where a rebound fighter, that's the pay-per-view fight right there.
Let's let Canelo knock him out first.
Exactly.
That'll fight.
That's two overseason fights on pay-per-view from the PBC within
same,
a month of each other.
It's the same thing with Thurman versus Errol Spence. Like that conversation was before Bud moved up to the weight class.
That fight should have been years ago.
I mean, that's why I've been convinced more or less that Davis versus Garcia is a little bit too good to be true. If you think of if you really look at it like, bro, they're gonna do those two pay-per-views the same month on the same platform? No way, bro. No way. And they don't have the option of moving it to May because, well, there's two other pay-per-views in May. 3 pay-per-views from 3 different platforms in 1 month? Nah, bruh. So I don't know, bruh. I don't know.
Honestly,
I don't know what they're going to do, but if you think about it, you have Canelo's pay-per-view, irrespective of who it's against, in May at the beginning. And then at the end, Bob wants to do Lomachenko-Haney. So what? You're going to squeeze Garcia versus Davis in the middle of that? And honestly, people will buy it?
Honestly, I don't think that fight happens, if I'm being honest with you. I saw what Oscar De La Hoya posted. So in my mind, I've always had this question. It's like, it's a little, sounds a little too great when you think that Oscar's going to put his star pupil up, and at the same time, PBC is going to post their star pupil up with no conflicting anything. No, like for example, in the past, every Showtime fight is oh, well, who's going to have these rights? Who's going to have those rights to the fight? What about this? What about that? It's been dead silent, and then it's oh, the fight's happening. This just seems a little too good to be true, in my opinion.
Too good to be true. It's like, for me, one of the things that stood out is that Oscar. Now is not a good time for Golden Boy to have the only marquee fighter that they have, which really is Ryan more than Virgil, more than Zerto, more than William Zepeda. And from a business standpoint, it doesn't make any sense for Oscar to gamble this right now when you can do shitty little Ryan Garcia fights that, will get you over $1 million at the gate, and you can provide content for your broadcast partner. It just doesn't make sense. And I'm like, and you're letting Showtime run the show? What are you getting out of this then?
Did you see Jules' red catch is out of the fight?
Which one? The Broner fight?
Yes, he's just tweeted. Go look. I don't know. It sounds like he can't take the fight based on his Twitter.
Why can't he take the fight? Let me look him up. Ivan.
There's always something happening.
No, let me see.
I'm starting to think that AB is cursed.
It says, "Thank you very much, Black Prime, for the opportunity. I was hurt, stole on my dream fight of my life. Boxing is my life. I came to the boxing gym when I was 6 to thank my fans. I let my team down, my family, my fans. You were all waiting for this fight. It was not my fault. It happened. Excuse me." Okay.
Then go down, keep looking what he wrote.
"There are a lot of mean people in boxing who ruin the lives of boxers and break their dream. It hurts me. I'm done with boxing. I was loyal to boxing. When a boxer has his hands tied, he cannot fight." Al Heyman. Al Heyman!
Thank you, Al Heyman.
No, you want my honest opinion? I think it's Al Heyman related. Who could stop him from fighting? Where has he been fighting? What shows? PBC shows. Maybe Al Heyman's stopping him from fighting.
I have to ask
why?
What? Yeah, that's the question. Why? Is this like a pity? Like
not
a pity, like a petty thing?
Why. To get back at Broner for leaking a lot of the info.
I mean,
and jumping ship.
Let me see. Rachel Donaire uploaded a 7-minute video on YouTube reacting to an article I wrote about Sean Gibbons denying rumors that Team Donaire reached out to Jade Bornea to offer step-aside fee so that Donaire could fight Fernando Martinez for the IBF world title. Well, that's a great fight if they did. She mentioned that I did not reach out to her for a comment. That is true because the rumor did not directly quote any member of Team Donaire. If the rumor dropped any names, I would have certainly reached out to that person. Sounds like they were trying to make a fight with Fernando. You know the guy, Fernando Martinez, the IBF super flyweight champion. Not superfly. Is he superfly?
Is he?
Yeah, he is. The IBF super flyweight champion, the Argentinian one, the one that beat Jerwin Ancajas. I mean, if they're trying to make that fight, I like that fight. I don't know if they still in the comment. I don't know if they still in the chat though. If you guys are there and you want to jump on, because they just tagged me to this.
We'd like to hear about it.
Shout out to Alexander. This relates to, I guess, a rumor that they tried to make a fight with Fernando Martinez. But why would that have anything to do with Sean Gibbons? Gibbons doesn't promote him. Chino Maidana promotes him.
Damn, so I guess AB's not fighting this year.
I mean, they'll find him someone else to fight, bro.
And again, I wouldn't...
If you guys are there, I'll leave you a spot.
No se encondan.
But yeah, like that's not like I don't see why Sean Gibbons would be related to that because he doesn't.
I know why. Because he has a fighter that I think I don't know if he's with Manny Pacquiao. He's the mandatory. That's what. So they would have to have him.
Oh, okay. Bueno, no,
they don't want to step aside.
No, pero está bien, pero I'm not gonna be mad at them that they want to fight at the tipo of Fernando Martinez. That's a good fucking fight if they can make it. It's a good fight. Donaire versus Martinez. That's for the IBF. I like that fight.
It'd be a good one, but buena suerte and getting it done, man.
Yeah, like I ain't gonna be mad at that.
Mandatory. I'm telling you right now, he'll beat Martinez. Who his mandatory? If he ends up fighting him, the Filipino guy's gonna beat Martinez.
You think he is?
Oh yeah, check him out. Oh, bro, he'll get Martinez, bro. Like Martinez is like, to be honest, he's fun to watch, but I don't think he beats the top guys. Like, bro, he would struggle with Gallo. Like you saw when he struggled with some movement that Jarwin kid did. It's like you imagine he did that for like 10 rounds, bro. That would have been a different fight. And Gallo, I mean Choco beats him. Yoka maybe it's, but I favor Yoka and Joshua. Franco beats him. So Martinez is like he's good, but that's crazy. The fact the division is that he's like considered. I'm not gonna say weak, but he probably loses to the other champions. If he was.
Well, the other thing is that he's the odd man out. I mean, that's what I see. That he's not really where he should be for super flyweight fights, big fights. Like if you think about that scene, Matchroom mostly dominates that scene because most of the big news that's coming out of that division, it involves Matchroom in one way, shape, or form. Like Bam Rodriguez, just flyweight and super flyweight. You're talking about Bam Rodriguez. You're talking about Julio Cesar Martinez. He's talking about, I don't know if he's going to actually do it, but we'll see. He's saying that he wants to do fights for Sonny Edwards with those fighters. Y después Chocolatito, Gallo Estrada, Gento Nakatani's about to move up, and I don't know, but I kind of get the sense that he might maybe have something going on with Matchroom. Maybe, we'll see. But it's like, yo, Fernando Martinez is the odd man out, bro. Like, there's nothing.
But here's the crazy thing, bro. He's not with PBC. The only reason he fights on PBC is because they had fights for him. They had dates for him because he's not signed to him, so he could fight in Matchroom shows. Like if there's a fight that he takes, like he's not just a PBC fighter. The only reason he fought, remember, he was a mandatory, and obviously Jarwin being with Pacquiao Promotions, they just made those 2 fights. But after that, they don't got shit from over there, unless that dude, they end up fighting on another PBC show. But all he could do is fight mandatory.
Mira este tipo, Alberto Puello. He has the WBA at 140. I'm not sure that he's a Heyman fighter, you understand. But you don't see him venturing out either, right? and he's a champion like Martinez is a champion. So
But
whatever their
there's smoke
situation,
though. But the thing is,
see,
there's smoke on that side of the street. That's why.
there
So
is,
he's
pero
gonna fight.
okay, ponlo tú. If you're Alberto Puello, who would you rather fight? Jose Ramirez for the bread, or fucking the winner of Matias versus Ponce?
Damn, 2 belts. I say Ramirez because he has the name.
Mira,
And the bread.
Teofimo, Ramirez, Pedraza, Comey, Taylor. All the action, if you at 140 that has value, is actually a top rank. As much as I might like Matias versus Ponce as a fight, nobody knows those guys. I'm not shitting. I'm not trying to shit on them, but I'm just saying that if you're a fighter or a fighter's manager and you looked at it and you said, well, which fighter's going to get my guy more money? You would probably make more money fighting Teofimo than you would make fighting the winner of that fight. Probably would. You'd probably make more money fighting Ramirez. So I looked at Fernando and I'm like, yo, why did you give Jerwin a rematch? Pa qué?
Because he had like I told you, dates, bro. He wanted to stay active, and he was a long-time champion. But
Yo sé, pero si tú tienes un título y tú sabes que all the big names at Superfly.
I think that wasn't even a mandatory. I think that was a volunteer. Remember, he was gonna fight.
Okay, pero pues tú ves lo que yo estoy diciendo, que tú tenías una oportunidad. You know where all the big names at Superfly are. You know where they are. And instead of, okay, I'm a champion now, I have a belt, so I want a Chocolatito or an Estrada or an Ioka. I want those fights. En vez de eso, what do? You stay where you are and you fight Jerwin again. And nobody saw it but me and a couple of other guys.
Yeah, I was about to ask you off topic. That's crazy, bro, about the Robert Diaz thing, man. Like, did that caught you by surprise?
I'm gonna say that it's not that I wasn't surprised to hear it, but that's because I knew the situation was bad. I didn't know, I didn't hear rumors that he was going to leave. So when I heard that he left, I didn't know that he was going to leave, but I wasn't surprised that he left. Wasn't surprised. Porque ellos no tienen nada ya, man, and it's kind of fucked up, but they don't really have anything, bro. Like what?
I mean, I don't know. Because he's been with them so long, and then you think he'll go to Matchroom, or where do you think he goes?
Bueno, no, de verdad, I think he goes to Matchroom. Somebody told me that he was at all the Canelo fights. I think it was you.
Yeah,
it was either you or someone else that told me that he would, even after Canelo Alvarez had split from Golden Boy, he still kept going to all the Canelo fights, and I'm thinking like, all right, well, really, why would he be doing that though? Like, in all seriousness, why would he be doing that if he was still employed by Golden Boy? And the only logical answer that I could come up with is maybe he wants to work with Matchroom.
Yeah, he was.
Why else would he go to all those fights? Like, you could say that, well, he is a boxing fan.
He mean, he does rock with Canelo hard. I mean, he even said it. So maybe it could be that. Maybe a mixture of things. But man, like, that dude knew how to put on fights. Man, hopefully Matchroom picks him up, because then he'll be able to, he'll put a lot of good ass fights.
Well, that's one thing that I was postulating, that I'm like, yo, if he were to go to Matchroom and work with them, that would be great for Matchroom, because he understands the American boxing scene perhaps in a way that Eddie Hearn won't. If you have Roberto Diaz, and he can get you the inside track on the fans that actually pay to see guys. Imagine, and I talked about this last week, could you imagine if you had a show where you have Virgil Ortiz as the co-main or the main, and Bam Rodriguez as the co-main or the main in Texas? That shit sells tickets like a motherfucker.
Oh, yeah, that's
Think
crazy.
about it. Marlon Esparza. These are all Texas fighters. Marlon Esparza.
They
Bam
did do
Rodriguez.
that, though. Have you noticed that, bro? Like, back when the zone first came out, they were like, you would see some Golden Boy fighters on some Matchroom shows. Like, they were kind of working together. Remember that? Like, in the beginning? You would see,
when they weren't competing, yeah.
Yeah, remember you saw Ryder, like, it's crazy. And I was going to say, well, I think Eddie understands the market a little bit better, because you see what he did with the Serrano and the Erica fight. You see how he noticed Serrano has a fan base in New York, undisputed, to build up the fight. You see how he got it, and then he added some guys that are from the area or based out of the area. So he knows a little bit more, but he capitalized on that. You saw that?
Yeah, man. Like to me, the natural place for him to go, because I don't think PBC has use for him. Top Rank seem to run a pretty tight ship. They don't seem like they're in need of
Oh
anyone.
man,
But
they got Carl Moratti. They got
they got
they're
Joe
fucking.
Moretti and he's and Bruce Trampler, and they're good with them. Like they're good with them. But Matchroom, they could actually use Roberto Diaz to help the
For the
effort in
USA.
America.
Yo, I have a question. Did you like don't they have a different matchmaker that used to do the European shows like Italy, Spain? Bro, those shows were pretty like legit. Remember when he did some of those European shows, Italy?
Yeah, I mean they already have a good guy, but what I'm saying is for America, for America, that they're kind of still trying to break into, to be honest. You got young guys like Pacheco and Castro and you have Bam, and assuming that Golden Boy goes under, that's a separate scenario, that Golden Boy might go under. Well,
I
if
don't think they'll go under, bro. I think they're just cutting.
Maning, how do they survive, bro? How? Con Virgil. He's gonna carry it.
Ryan, Virgil, Mugia. I mean, bro, they got fighters, but it's all
Maning, it's just that I don't know that they could stay a factor with what they have. And it's not that they got a couple of guys like, yeah, with Munguia, you could probably turn him into something, because as protected as he is, you at some point need to get a return on that investment. But is it really enough for them to stay a major factor in the sport?
I mean, Ryan Garcia, bro. Let's keep it. It's also Ryan Garcia, because remember he had that long layoff, and then he fights like.
Bro, but he had
a.
But this is what I mean. Okay, so let's look at Virgil. With Virgil, you want to keep him at minimum 2 fights a year. You look at Munguia, at minimum 2 fights a year. That's 4 fights Golden Boy can do.
They got him at 3.
Okay, no, espere. Es otra pelea. No. Esa pelea en Mexico was a Zanfer Promotions fight. Just because they showed it on the zone, that was Zanfer promoting that fight. Y tú sabes que cualquier pelea que pasa en Mexico, that's Zanfer. That's not really Golden Boy. That's Zanfer. So I'm talking about pelea.
I saw Golden Boy.
They probably had a sticker on the shit, bro. But if it's in Mexico, who do you think the lead promoter is?
Well,
if it's in Mexico,
they went February, and Oscar was there. Put it like this: if
Oscar Stanford, bro,
it's Oscar and it's both of them.
All right. Besides the point, okay. So with Virgil, 2 fights. Munguia, 3 fights a year. That's 5 fights between 2 fighters. Then you have Zurdo, and I don't even know what they're gonna do with Zurdo. I'm gonna assume maybe they move him up to cruiserweight, but let's put him on a schedule of 2 fights a year. That's approximately 6 fights between those 3.
How about Rocha? They're about to turn him into.
I know that he has a fight coming up. I'm not saying that he doesn't, pero de verdad, you're gonna put the weight of the company on Rocha. He's a big.
I'm saying that they're. I mean, it seems like he's about to be like. I mean, we'll see what happens.
All right, I'm just gonna say I don't see it. Then you have Ryan, who, bro, he's on a 1 fight a year schedule. Like, he can say whatever the fuck he wants. He's on a 1 fight a year schedule, because that's how much he's been fighting. Between that, you have approximately between 8 and 9 shows that you can do in a calendar year. Between 8 and 9 shows, and I don't see sustainability with those 8 or 9 shows. I don't. They don't have any champions, bro. Gracias a Dios that Virgil is in position to become a champion. Pero hasta con eso, okay, which are the big fights that you can do for Virgil now to really turn him into a superstar? There's only one, and I don't even know if he wins that fight. That's Crawford.
Which one? Man, but he's probably not going to end up fighting. Like I said, bro, they'll keep him busy. They'll try to get him as many names to build onto a resume. But you're right. We'll see what happens. But
that's what I mean. That, like, and I'm not saying that, this will be their final year in the sport, but I'm just looking at what they have, and I'm like, yo, they're not really in a great place. Like, honestly, they're not. They're not. I heard last week. They said they're
2015.
I heard last week that Roberto's not there, but also that other people left. The words that were used, I'm just quoting what I was told, was mass exodus. That's the words that were used. It's more than Roberto that left. And I'm like, bro, like, If that's going on, what's next? I heard Eric Gomez might step down, bro. He hasn't yet, but I heard that. So I don't know, bro. I don't know. They got a couple of good guys, but it just doesn't look good. That's all.
You think so? I mean, the reason I don't really look into, I mean, obviously with them, I just feel like maybe that like money issue, like trying to save money, and they did that. But when they, 2015, what happened? We know what happened. I mean, they survived it. I feel like if they start putting more, like trying to like obviously get into like get them like a Murata, get them like a.
Pero sin Roberto.
I mean, shit, the show gotta go on. I mean, bro,
have they even replaced him?
I'm pretty sure they probably have, but they just haven't really, because that's something for us to. How would we really know they replaced him? Like, matchmakers aren't really somebody that, like, I mean, unless they've been like in big fights, but like, do people really know matchmakers like that? Like,
It's not that they know them. It's that if it was enough of a story that you reported that a matchmaker, even though we know him, right? But if it was enough that you could report that a matchmaker left, which they did, then surely it should be enough when he gets replaced to report it, because you thought enough of it to report it. So when are they going to report his replacement? Did they move somebody up internally into that position? I'm just telling you that it doesn't look good. That's all I'm saying. Doesn't look
good. When you say Golden Boy might be go under, what do you mean exactly? Do you mean
they might go the way that main events went? That main events used to, they used to have a marquee stable or a stable of fighters that was good enough. Like I think Bivol used to be main events. He's not anymore, obviously.
No, he was not. I don't think he was. I think he just fought on like the shows, but he was whatever the promoter.
Look, either way, main events used to be a more relevant outfit. In the golden days of Sergey, exactly. In the golden days of Sergey Kovalev, they used to be more of a major factor. Now, I mean, where are they?
Who was the main event? Do you remember? It was Kovalev.
Maybe they become like a cage promotion or like a
that was a long time ago,
where they just decide which show they're gonna put their fighters on.
Yeah, they're like a booking agent. They're like a booking agent that you don't actually have to make
fighters. But so Jules, so does main event just not have like, because they were pretty around with HBO, like. Do they just have fighters that fight on different networks, or what's their?
They
deal?
basically loan out their fighters, is what it looks like. They haven't. They haven't. Hold on, fam. They haven't completely dissolved. They still have fighters, but they're not what they were in the days of HBO. They're not.
Oh, is it like Dimitri Salita? Like they're another one.
Un promotor que no tiene a television deal, a promoter that doesn't have a TV deal.
I would think Oscar's going to be like a Lou DiBella type or a Dimitri Salita or like
Oscar is busy treating his nose, bro. Who we really talking about is Gomez.
Yo, Dimitri Salita's funny as hell, bro. A lot of his guys will be on Showbox. Like, they'll be like on 8 Showbox shows. Like,
yeah. Can I say something?
He should have a platform though. He got some good fighters.
Real quick, I don't think those abs are real, bro. I think that's the filter.
Nah, I think those are like plastic surgery. You're right.
What should look like abs that he has?
Yeah, that should look like an IG filter, bro.
Bro, go look at like Oscar. Pause, no homo. Oscar put up a picture with like his shirt off, like showing his like progress.
Nobody posted a video. The abs. I don't know what they are, but they were there in the video.
That was a male
BBL,
BBL,
got
bro.
Some beef from Canelo, man. You never know.
That's just an implant.
The shit looks weird. Like the shit looks weird, but he posted a video and the abs were in the video. Like whatever they are, I don't know what they are, but they were in the video.
Yeah. That shit was his girl's leftover BBL meat.
Jules.
Good.
Do you think a Rocha Conor Benn fight happens in the future?
Possibly. I would sooner say before I say Rocha, I would say Blair Cobbs before I would say Rocha. But
you think so? I mean, no, but when Rocha fought Blair Cobbs, bro, that place didn't look empty. It looked kind of, it was.
No, you know what I'm diciendo. I'm only saying Blair Cobbs because if if you're Conor Benn's people, remember, we don't even know if he's going to go back to 147. We don't actually know that because he's been out a couple.
I think so.
I'm not saying that he's not. I'm just saying that we don't.
Going up in weight.
All right, hold on. I'm just saying that we don't know when. I don't know that his next fight is going to be at 147. Maybe it will. I'm just saying I don't know. He has to get there first.
Yeah.
But I feel like his team would sooner go with Blair Cobbs because he got knocked out already than Rocha. Maybe they build themselves up to a Rocha. Porque Rocha no es pendejo tampoco. You're not just going to fight him just like that. Like, nah, be like, right. He's a southpaw. He's a good fighter.
Oh, yeah. I could see McKenzie versus Rocha. I can see that happening real soon.
Bueno, vamos a ver lo que pasa con McKenzie, porque la otra cosa es, wasn't his last fight on Sky?
Yeah, he just he was on Sky.
He wasn't happy about it though. Apparently, like he wasn't on TV.
Because
I think
he was
like
on
he was.
YouTube. Yeah,
he got buried on the card. So.
Damn, he was on YouTube.
Yo, to be fair, bro, he can box. Like I think Matchroom just had him but I think Matchroom. What I noticed from a trend, they only keep the ticket sellers. Like even if you're not good, I mean that's smart. But I would have kept Michael McKenzie, build him up, see if he can get like a huge win. Because like losing to Virgil, like that's Virgil. But he's
hard to promote, bro, because he's a southpaw who's a pure boxer who doesn't really hit that. And I'm not knocking him, pero esto es la verdad. He doesn't hit that hard, so you're not going to get knockouts. He's going to box, so it's always going to be a 12-round fight. And he's a southpaw, so people aren't going to want to fight him because he's a fucking southpaw. So
bro,
it's like...
But the thing is, bro, if you have like a contender, a prospect, that's a guy you want to match him up to see how he does because he could beat him, bro. Like that dude, bro. If you don't know if you don't got a certain skill set, he'll beat you, bro.
Otra cuestión. If you're Eddie Hearn, do you want to put your guy who's a welterweight that sells? Why the fuck am I frozen?
Right.
Hey, Bung, if you're Eddie Hearn and you have a young guy like a Conor Benn who can sell, you're going to put him in there with Michael McKenzie straight away.
Some UK guy told me that, like, do you want to do my, and I was like, bro, listen, who the fuck wants to see that fight? Like I got Conor Benn beating him, but like, come on, bro. Like, I wanted to see Eubank broke because, bro, those are world champions. Like, as a promoter, I want my guys to get world champions, not upcoming contenders or guys that, okay, they beat up.
No, I get it. It's just that it's counterintuitive. Like, if it's me and I'm the matchmaker, look, get me Blair Cobbs. Why? He's an American fighter. Maybe I can do a fight for Conor Benn in America with this American fighter. He got knocked the fuck out, so we know he can't take a punch. He's like a 34-year-old prospect.
And they both talk. They're both talkers.
They're both talkers. So I feel like
people associated with Charlotte Flair.
Blair Cobbs in America is like, no, you could do that. You could do that. Pero Rocha no es pendejo. Like, you don't just, especially for Conor Benn, like, nah, espérese un momento. You think about this first, all right? Because Rocha can punch. He's a southpaw. And he's been in there with, at least two decent guys. He lost to Rashidi Ellis, but he beat Blair Cobbs. It's like, riesgo. There's risk.
I want to see Conor fight Virgil, man. Inevitably.
Cycle off that shit for a bit.
Probably down the line, but I would just put Conor Benn, try to get him like a former world champion. Even like they were building him up. Like, bro, I fuck with him.
Numbers.
I'm a fan. The thing is, it's just fuck that Eubank. Like I would have threw him in there with Brooke and maybe build up the Eubank fight, or maybe got him Jesse Vargas. Like, bro, there's fights for him to fight, but it's just like that Eubank shit kind of.
I think he'll take like a catchweight fight with Eubank and maybe fight Kell Brook at 154, but I don't think he'll stay up there because he is a small welterweight.
Ideally, Brook would be the next fight. I would think that if you were going to fight anybody on the bounce, it would be Brook at 154.
But as a promoter, bro, you gotta remember they're trying to get that Eubank game. They're trying to get that win. Like he's not.
No, pero eso es lo que yo estoy diciendo que ellos pueden hacer la pelea con Chris Eubank later on in the year. Pero porque este muchacho no ha peleado in a couple of months, right? Get him Brook, feed him Brook, box office fight, toda la mierda, and then you do the Eubank. Because he's not going to do Eubank next. You see what I mean? Like, I don't think that's going to be next, bro. I think they're going to give him a little keep busy fight, and then, we'll see what they do.
What about Chris Congo?
Sky Sports, bro. And I think he has a fight coming up, unless I'm mistaken.
It just seems like they were supposed to be on a collision course, too.
No, if you're gonna deal with a guy from Sky, right? If you're gonna go over there and you're gonna say, okay, we want to offer one of the guys on Sky the fight, get fucking Florian Marcoux. He's terrible. Get him.
Oh, bro, that dude has.
They say he's moving down though. I thought he was moving.
For the bread, bro. For the bread, money talks. For the bread.
No. Let me go. I got to fight for that guy. Who's that Albanian kid from New York that was like growing up? He had a lot of views.
Madi? He's fighting at 140.
Espera un momento. Ese muchacho no es pendejo. Él no es pendejo. He's not a takeover, bro. Un tipo así, he might upset Conor. I'm just telling you, he might.
No.
But also, I don't think he's.
You're not listening to me. Yo, let me. Bro, I'm talking about him versus the foreign guy that's on Sky that was on.
Oh, the Marcoux guy?
Yes, because they're both of Armenian descent. You imagine how big that fight would be?
All right, yo hago esa pelea en un volcano, in a volcano, in front of 30,000 screaming ostriches. I would make that fight. Marcoux versus Mati. I would make that.
That's what I was talking about. That's what I'm talking about because, bro, they're both of Albanian. And Rick, I was about to ask you, what happened to that? Wasn't he fighting on Matchroom shows? Why did he did when Eddie left Sky?
He's fighting in a couple weeks on the Serrano undercard.
No. I'm talking about the what's his name? The guy that's
Anthony
on Sky.
Sims?
No, Foron, whatever his name is, whatever his name is.
Marcoux?
¿Tú sabes lo que parece que pasó? Él se jaltó. It looks like to me that he wanted because remember, he used to always talk about wanting the Conor Benn fight, and he was looking better in those days, fight by fight. He was looking like more of a factor en ese tiempo. Pero parece que cuando he realized that he wasn't going to get the Conor Benn fight, he left.
Oh, did a lot of the fighters, because the thing, what's going on, I'm confused. I'd be seeing some fighters on like Matchroom shows, and then they're on Sky, like when they did that, when they left Sky, did some of those guys remember Savannah Marshall, the Tyson Fury's cousin?
Dos cosas. Uno, it looks like, or at least rumors, and they're just rumors, whatever, right? That they have third-party backing that allows them to overpay. So they're offering fighters good money to come over to Sky, like Savannah Marshall, April Hunter, Lawrence Okoli, Chris Billum-Smith, Liam Smith. Remember, all of them were on Matchroom shows mostly, pero the rumor is that they have third-party backing that allows them to overpay. So that might explain why so many of them, or why some of them, not that many, but some of them decided to go over there. Y recuerda lo que dijo Lawrence Okoli también in that story. Ellos le ofrecieron mucho más dinero a Lawrence to go to Sky than he was making at Matchroom. And he told Matchroom, look, I'll stay if you match it, but you can see that they didn't want to match it. And Eddie Hearn himself said they offered Lawrence an amount of money that we feel does not reflect his market value. So that's just a fancy way of saying you don't want to pay him that much. So people.
Yeah, it looks like Boxer's doing what Matchroom was doing. What Matchroom was doing when they first got to the US.
Yeah.
Man, but here's the thing, dog. You gotta have example, if you're example, one of my guys I like watching is Boxing. He's fun to watch. With Lawrence Okoli, he has a style that's kind of he's pretty fucking boring, bro.
Sí, pero ellos están desesperados también. No te la pierdas que Sky, que cuando Matchroom se fue de Sky, don't forget, bro, que
they took
a lot from them, bro. They don't have, ellos no tienen casi nada. De verdad. Ellos no tienen casi nada.
Yeah, Sky don't got shit, bro. I mean, bro, they're just they're trying, they're desperate to get people over there. I mean, if you look at it,
now we can say this. They got some young guys and some amateurs like Fraser Clark. They have a future, ¿me entiende? Pero ahora they're not big ticket sellers. They're not very well known. So they need something to fill that void. So aunque Lawrence Okoli es más aburrido que el diablo, they need something, bro. They need anything. They need something.
I think Okole's fumbling the bag because, like, once that break into the market money dries up, he's not gonna have a lot of fights there. To be honest.
Yeah, like no. Let's say this is the thing. Lawrence as a cruiserweight on Sky Sports has great options. He does. Now that Matchroom, remember, Matchroom is not now that Lawrence is gone, Matchroom has no stake in the cruiserweight division. Frank Warren, he doesn't care about the cruiserweights. Bob Arum, he doesn't care about the cruiserweights. And the PBC, they don't care about the cruiserweights.
They don't got shit.
They don't got shit, right? Pero también, you know why that's good? Because no politics. No politics. If you want to do a fight with a J.O. Pataya, you can. If you want to do a fight with a Arslan Gulamarian, you can. If you want to do a fight with a Lunga Makabu, you can. If you want to do a fight with a Mayris Breedis, you can. No politics.
Right. I think for Cruiser, he has good fights, like as far as like getting belts and like entertaining scraps. But as far as like the big marquee fights, like heavyweight fights, I don't think he's gonna get them there.
Hey,
Could you imagine a boxing
unpopular
world with
opinion.
no politics, man? Wouldn't that be great?
Yo, Ring. Unpopular opinion. The Bridgerweight division is gonna be a division in the next coming years, bro. Because I looked at the names and I'm like, yo, don't be surprised. That actually turns out like we get a couple more.
What are the
belts.
names?
Gassiev. Well, Gassiev is a heavyweight. I mean, you got the Alan Babbage. You got the guy that he
Okay. Espera un momento. One name at a time,
Oscar
bro.
Rivas.
Espera.
I thought he was back at heavyweight.
No, espera. Wait, because I need to address Gassiev. You're hanging the hat of Bridgerweight, the future, on Gassiev. That dude don't barely fight, bro.
He's been
Usyk
fighting.
took his soul.
I'm telling you, he don't barely fight. Algo siempre le pasa a ese tipo, bro. Algo siempre. It's just always some shit. He fought CS Slack and then what? Oh, no, not CS Slack. He fought Valish, or something Valish. And he should have fought more. Like, no, bro. As much as I like Gassiev to watch him fight, that dude his career is to stop and start. Fucking us. Basically, literally, right? Like, he's like, bro, like, after he lost to Usyk, how many years did he spend away? Like 2?
Yeah, I think like 2 years.
Like, bro, don't get it twisted. I like watching him fight, but he really doesn't fight that much. So I don't think it's good. Who else, bro? Who else? Kingma. Where'd Polo go?
I don't know.
Marco. He went to go find some Bridgerweights.
Marco!
Polo.
Gassiev got him. Gassiev took him.
Al Heyman got him.
But now, like, I looked at the Bridgerweight division's ranks, and that's how I came to that conclusion that Alen Babic is that division's best hope to bring money and attention to it. Now, I don't underestimate, what a lot of us over here in this part of the world are underestimating is the Polish boxing scene. If Rosanski wins, I could see them domestically proliferating in that division, proliferating in that weight class. Those guys that they're definitely over 200 pounds, but they're not cut out to really beat the upper echelon heavyweights. I could see a lot of Polish guys ending up at Bridgerweight, but that really won't give it worldwide attention. Now, if Alen Babic wins, because he's a Croatian who has a big UK following, that would be good for that division if he were to become its champion, because he's fun to watch and he's fucking retarded and he sounds like a crazy person, and he's a very likable guy in and outside the ring. So if he were to win, that would be good for the Bridgerweight division.
But also I think what also is hurting the Bridgerweight is the fact that none of the other organizations are doing Bridgerweight. It's only the WBC. But like even Rosicki, like if he gets the belt back from Oscar Rivas, what happens? Do they ask Kaunaki to go on a keto diet and like get down to Bridgerweight or some shit?
It's hard to imagine. The problem with that, you hit the nail on the head, because that's a big part of the problem, that the other organizations, they haven't recognized it yet. And you know why they don't? They know there's no fucking money there, bro. There's no
Like
money.
if Cruiserweight still hasn't like really taken off, like how is Bridgerweight going to take off?
Exactly. Yo, I literally made that comparison literally over a week ago. What like Cruiserweight has always been the heavyweight division's ugly little sister. And it's produced great fighters, which is the weird part. It has Evander Holyfield.
It's the purist division, like real
The
purists
thing
watch
is,
that.
Cruiserweight since the 1980s has been treated like flyover country. And, for TV networks, I don't understand why, I could have learned about Johnny Nelson, I could have learned about Holyfield and Usyk and their heroics. But the one thing I got to thank, historically, is while y'all was having this discussion that I really miss the World Boxing Super Series because that's the ones that really put that weight class in the map.
That's
and
true.
we need another competition like that again.
Well, there's about to be, but I don't know what divisions. There is about to be another one, but I don't know what divisions. I don't know what divisions they're going to use it for, but I feel that ideally, if they are going to do it, go back to Cruiserweight. You can do it now. You don't have to worry about if you were going to do another World Boxing Super Series, now would be the best time to go back to Cruiserweight because Matchroom doesn't have a stake in that division. Neither does Queensberry or Top Rank or Match. Like none of them. There's no politics anymore. So you're free to have Arsene Goulamari and Lunga Makabu, J.O. Pataya. You can do it now, and it would be great.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see, we'll see. As far as what the fuck were we on about? Bridgerweight. Bro, there's no money.
That's what I'm saying. Like give Kaunaki lap band surgery or some shit. Or like some of these like cruiserweights have or like what heavyweight do you think might go down to Bridgerweight?
I'm afraid in the Bridgerweight they need more than just Captain Kupchak Jr. and what's his name. I mean they need
Michael Hunter. Like who can they grab from heavyweight or cruiserweight to get there?
Oh, that's a good shout. That is a good shout. Michael Hunter is a good shout because he is having no luck at heavyweight, bro. None. Nothing is happening. Nothing is moving. You know what I mean? He's supposed to fight Huey Fury. Huey got sick or something happened, and Sky dropped him. He's not on Sky. I heard Usyk signed him.
He's with that guy. I forget his name.
So if the WBC really is trying to legitimize this division, should the other three sanctioning bodies just refer to it as the junior heavyweight?
I mean, the other three sanctioning bodies just aren't wasting their time because they're not stupid. There's no look. How many fights can you name off the top of your head that happened at Bridgerweight last year?
This is just, Jules, what this is, look, what this really is just another excuse to collect sanctioning fees.
Yeah,
bro, that's why the WBC is doing it.
Yeah, like I'm not disagreeing with you. It's that the other ones see what sanctioning fees, bro. There are no fights happening there. There's
that's
no.
Crazy.
If you're big enough to campaign at heavyweight, you're telling yourself, well, where's the money? Where is the money, between cruiser and heavy? It's at heavy. So what are they going to do? They're going to go to heavy because that's where the fucking money is. And that's
where the fights are because there's no one else in the division.
Yeah, like what the fuck are you going to do? Fight Marco Huck for $200,000 if that?
Errol Spence out of camp. Bridgerweight out.
What? $400,000 in stamps.
That's what I'm like. Even for like $400,000, right? Like that number. Like I'd say, look, $400,000 to $500,000 is a decent sized purse, and I'm like, bruh, you probably ain't even gonna get that campaigning at that weight. Like being real with you, like not in a world title fight. I'm talking about Joe Blow. That's a Bridgerweight. Bro, you probably gonna get a $5,000 purse.
Dudes will pay him in food stamps, man.
Bro, they'll pay him in fucking Groupon.
But if they eat too much, they'll have to go back to heavyweight.
Yeah, Usyk will probably win that in his sleep.
Bro, that's yeah, but who the fuck gonna respect that shit too? That's a division that has no lineage, no contenders. Like, think about it. Allen is moving down from heavyweight. That is the most exciting Bridgerweight news in the last 12 months. That Allen is moving down. That's it. And if
AJ Bronner should fight it that way.
If he fucking loses, you can forget it, bro. There goes the hope of the Bridgerweight division if he loses. The only shot they have to get attention for that weight class is Alen Babic. And one of these days he's gonna get knocked the fuck out. That's the other thing because of how he fight.
Bro, he's a knockout. He's a nap waiting to happen.
Bruh, that dude gonna get slapped one of these days, and he know it. And he is the Bridgerweight division's last hope. You know what I mean?
He's
So
milking it for as much as he can get, man.
Because I thought he wanted to fight like Hergovic or something to make that.
well,
like,
he
all
used
Croatian
to.
belt.
No, he used to. But I believe this is just me. This is just me. He was calling out Hergovic because when amateurs, especially star amateurs, turn pro, they get the red carpet rolled out for them. They're worth some money. Hergovic, Matchroom was invested in Hergovic. But what you notice is Hergovic is not the marquee guy anymore. Bobic is.
That's true.
Literally.
And he lost his boogeyman status after that performance.
Yeah, like now, if you're Alan Bobic, you don't actually need Hergovic to make. People don't get excited over Hergovic fights. They get excited over Bobic fights. He's made for TV. So he was basically chasing him for the bag, but he doesn't need him to get the bag anymore. Alan Bobic might become a champion before Hergovic, a Bridgerweight champion, but hey, bro. Hey, bro, belt's a belt.
That's pretty damn sad if he does.
Yeah. Speaking of spoiled Olympians, man, like very off topic, but like Michaela Mayer is turning into Teofimo Lopez.
Well, I mean, she's delusional, bro. Like she's just, like it was a great fight and it was a close fight. I don't deny that it was. It was close. I had Baumgartner winning it by a point, and I didn't know if she'd get a fair shake because I would have sooner expected them to screw her over. But the fact that they didn't, bro, she didn't have no advantages in that fight. You can't tell that story. They never tell the whole story that, look, that's the Matchroom fighter on a boxer show. Do you think they were looking to do her any favors? No. She beat you, dog. Now, have your fight and do your thing. But stop with the bullshit. You for the fans. No, for your fucking ego. Stop for the fans.
And it's like, if it was 12 rounds, I would have won.
Mad bullshit. Mad bullshit. Like, bro, like, I want to see Alicia Baumgartner versus Katie Taylor. Shit. If Alicia beats whatchamacallit, and I think she's going to, and if Katie beats Amanda, or if Amanda beats Katie, I want to see Alicia versus the winner of that fight. That's what I want.
See, I think if Amanda wins, they'll do a trilogy though. But if Katie wins, which I think, like, honestly, like, I love Amanda, but like, come on, man. I think Katie's gonna win, and when she does, that'll be a huge fight.
Yeah, like undisputed versus undisputed for the fucking future. And Michaela, like, bro, the other thing is Michaela acting like ain't nobody else out there. Run it back with Maiva, bro.
Bro, she said Caroline Dubois has to wait 5 years before she calls her out to try and fight.
She said that?
Yeah, she said, Caroline Dubois has to call me in 5 years, as she said.
Wow, that's delusion.
Wow.
Where the hell is she gonna be in 5 years? I mean, come on.
Somebody that whoops her fucking ass. If you wait to fight that girl 5 years, she is gonna fuck you up.
Bro,
real
fight
bad.
her now. That's when you have the chance.
That tell me that Michaela nervous. I don't give a shit. That's what that tell me.
They don't like that power.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I think that shit is. If in 5 years, how much better is she gonna be in 5 years? She's gonna be a goddamn animal in 5 years. You better get her now. Michaela should be smart. This is what Michaela should do. Fight Natasha Jonas.
That would be a great fight.
Honestly, if she wants to make a move that puts her in a power position at the beginning of this year, forget 35. You ain't shit. Katie is the boss. You know what I mean? At 40, Chantel is the boss. At 47, Jessica, she got options even though she coming off a loss. I talk to Rick all the time. She got options. You know what I mean? If you really trying to get in where you fit in to get the bag, fight Natasha Jonas. That'll be a big fight over there because of Baumgartner versus Mayer and because of Natasha. Natasha got belts, yo. You taller than Natasha. You'll fill out.
What's going on with McCaskill right now?
Well, Ivana Habazin is her mandatory challenger. That's what's going on. Rick is talking to Eddie, trying to get a rebound fight. They're trying to negotiate a deal. He does have options because he was made an offer by Ben Shalom to fight him. Who was it? to fight Natasha. But I know the number. He told me the number. It's not a number that I would. Being real with you is that number is ridiculous. Like hell no, fam. You better not. You bet. And I'm a boxing fan first, but I'm like, nah, son, not for that number. You bugging. Y'all motherfuckers need to pay to play, B. Like if you want my honest opinion, and I'm not gonna say what the number was, but it's low, bro. It's low.
Right.
So she has options though. Jessica has options. She'll be all right.
Real quick, do you know how much Mayer and Baumgartner made in that fight?
I don't know what Michaela made.
How much did they be making?
A lot of money.
Man,
I asked her. She made a lot of money, bro. I'm not gonna tell you the number.
I think. Well, Eddie Hearn said she made 7 figures, but that could mean a lot of things.
I mean, low end of 7. I remember she told me 6 figures, but high 6 figures. He said 7. I don't know where he got 7 from, but I asked, like, yo, is that true? That was weeks ago. But she made money, and which is why I said that I can believe that she made more than Michaela because she's the one crossing over. You have to pay her good. If you want her to cross over, you have to incentivize the offer. Otherwise, who you gonna fight, Michaela? You can't pull this bullshit with Katie. Chantel's with Matchroom. You gonna fight her? Shit. What she needs to do is fight Natasha Jonas. That's what she needs to do. And stop dicking around. Stop playing. Fight Natasha.
And then if she wins, there's like that built-in fight with Terry Harper, which is already
now you understand me then. You understand me then. Natasha doesn't want to fight for whatever reason. Natasha just doesn't want to run it back with Terry. Fine. Let Michaela do it. You know that sells in the UK.
Of course, but is it Natasha who doesn't want that fight, or because she said it's Terry's manager or like trainer manager type?
Well, when I spoke to Natasha, this is what she said. The offer that they made her is not no bit, which I believe Natasha, by the way. I believe she's making very good money over there at Sky. She's getting money from more than one way, and the offer made to her was not enough money. Now, Natasha and what I get from her and Joe, and when I watch their interviews, is they don't feel they need that fight. They're kind of spiting Terry Harper. Well, really, they're spiting Steffi Bull because when I spoke to Natasha, she kind of made it clear that it's really Steffi that he said something. I don't know what he could have said that made her feel that way, but it seems that there's the rift is between her and that particular that manager. So I mean, if she doesn't want to fight Terry, fight Michaela. That's a big fight. That's a big fight.
Man, welterweight, like the women's welterweight division, could be crazy if they move down. And then I'm blanking on her name, the Native American chick doing the movies. You know what I'm talking
about? I know you're talking about. I'm reading what Mark Jones said. First,
Kaylee Reese.
Yeah, but she's on TV with Jodie Foster, my God.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But she said she wasn't retiring. But I'm just saying, like, if she comes back, Jessica.
No, till them checks come in, then you're gonna be like, bro, what the fuck? I look like we're doing all this shit, sitting in this cold ass water when I'm getting this money. Like, nah, I'm good. Like, y'all did my thing. I was a champion. I fought a lot of good fighters. I'm good. You bugging. Edwin Castillo said, yo, what's gonna say Jules be so nervous staring side to side, grunting that kid would yeah, bro. Like she'd be like, what's wrong with him? Why is he looking like me? Is he looking at me like that?
Girl.
Mark Jones, shout out to Mark Jones. Mark Jones says Serrano stops Taylor in the return match. Taylor had her last great fight last April. Well, Mark, we talk a lot. I've heard that before. We'll see. I don't rule anything out. I don't know,
man. I feel like she did hurt Katie multiple times in the first fight. Like I rewatched it a couple weeks ago, and she did hurt her quite a few times. But
she hurt her at the end of the third round. She hurt her at the end of the
mid rounds
and in the mid rounds.
And the late, and late.
What I'll say is that punch that got through at the end of the third is why she got hurt in the mid rounds. She was woozy, and I don't think she recovered after that punch in the third round. It was towards the end of the round. I remember Serrano got through with a straight. I think it was a backhand. And if you look at Katie's legs, like, yo, she was woozy off of that, and I don't think she recovered.
Yeah, and I think part of it is like I feel like Katie was fighting with ego. Like she wanted like to prove that like, you know, she wasn't scared of Serrano's power, and she was like getting into little firefights throughout the fight. But I think that in the rounds where she just, you know, did what Katie Taylor is used to doing, she won those rounds clearly.
Yeah, and to me, rematches are always, well, not to me. I mean, that's just how it goes. Rematches are usually determined who wins by who can adjust. And I feel like Katie still, she can make adjustments. She can make the fight easier if she wants to. She has that luxury. But Amanda's looking for a knockout, you know, especially if you're going to Ireland, man. You got to be
no
looking for a
choice.
knockout.
Tell you what, she better not be. You know, there's if rematch happens, right? She better not be backing up into a corner.
We'll see. I think that, which is not dissimilar from what we saw in the Pursoon rematch. Movement is the key. As long as you're moving, the shots don't have that much power on them. That's why all them girls go in there with Amanda and they want to get on a good foot. They don't want to stand. They'll stand and trade with anybody else, but they don't want to stand and trade with Amanda. So as long as Katie's moving, she can win on points.
Well, look what happened when Katie stood in front of her and tried, and you know, I mean, yeah, her ambition and everything was great, but man, she almost got knocked out.
Yeah, she was trying to prove something. Like you didn't have to do that. You were boxing fine.
Yeah,
And
that was the wrong
but that's
fight.
always the case with her. That like you want to put on a show. You know you can make it easier, but that's also a part of the reason why she's the biggest in the sport, though, because the fights are fun to watch. The Pursoon fights, whether you think she won or lost, were fun to watch. The Serrano fight,
the Catskill fight was great.
That's a good fight. The Leonardo fight.
Yep.
Those
she
are
can
fights
be very technical, but like she really does sells out.
Motherfuckers hate that shit. Like motherfuckers really get mad. That's another one. Shout out to Coach. We was talking about earlier. Motherfuckers really get mad off that shit. Like, yeah, she sells more than fucking Clarissa. I'm sorry. What the fuck you want me to say? You want me to lie? She sells more than Clarissa. New York City, Amanda Serrano. Look at all them fucking flags out there, bro. It's kind of obvious. I'm sorry, but yeah, it's kind of obvious. And you want me to believe that in London, that the majority of those people was there for Clarissa? No, they were there for Savannah, bro. It's kind of obvious.
Americans are not supporting their own.
They don't support their own here. You think they're supporting them in fucking at the O2? What you think motherfuckers flew out there like getting droves? Damn. Fuck is you talking about?
People trip for nothing. I had a guy get mad at me one time just because I said a wild honey badger would beat a pit bull in a fight. For real.
No, I had that same conversation over a grizzly bear and a gorilla. And I'm like, that grizzly will kill that gorilla, bro. Like, gorilla's not an apex predator. Like, they're cool. They be chilling like most of the time.
Bro, they're vegan.
Is an asshole.
A gorilla's a vegan, bro. He's just chilling, eating grass.
You know what? Dana White should just look. Dana White should just leave UFC and just start Ultimate Animal League. You know, and just and answer that question for us. You know.
Nah, motherfuckers will be hurt that when they find out that a lion ain't the real king of the jungle. They'll be hurt. I don't know why they say that shit. Tiger whooped that. Every time
Tigers hold him out.
Bro, every time you put a tiger in there with a lion, he whoops that lion's ass.
Facts. They get hold out.
Yeah.
They get hold out every time.
And unless I'm mistaken, I think a tiger can also beat a bear. Because they go for the throat. They ain't with the grab assing. They go for the throat. They go for the jugular.
Yeah, I seen a tiger kill a sun bear one time on one of them shows, nature shows.
Mm-hmm.
He went up there in the bush. Okay, he was bigger than the sun bear, but he went up there in the bush and got a hold of this sun bear and got him by the throat and killed him.
Yeah, because bears aren't good hunters. Like they just hold you down and start eating you alive. Like a lion will just kill you quickly.
You talking about tiger?
Yeah, tiger, but just big cats in general.
I don't know if a tiger would take on a Kodiak or a freaking supersized grizzly, though, dude.
I think it's an argument for a lion beating a tiger in the real life. And it's because experience. Lions are actually built for fighting. Tigers are built for killing. So in nature, you don't always have to win by killing the other guy, because most of the time, when let's say a lion fights a lion, they discover each other, hurting each other, and is, establishing dominance. And when those apex predators find each other, most of the time one of them runs out the other. So there is a chance, because lions are actually built for fighting. They have that male, the fucking hair around his neck is there for protect them against. It's protect his name, protect his vitals against other apex predators. So I think the lion has a decent chance to win a fight. Now, a fight to the death, the tigers win.
But that's the thing about animals too. When they fight, it is to the death, bro.
Yeah, we're doing boxing math for animals.
For real, like if you got a lion and a tiger, bet the house on a tiger, bro, because he not here to fight. He here to kill you.
Like there are ancient like Roman accounts of like the gladiatorial animal fights. Like they always said that the Bengal tigers would kill the African lions every single time.
Real shit, yo. Motherfucking Will says, fucking shit is slow as shit. What the fuck? This shit slow.
There you go.
Let me see. It's slow on mine. That should be living proof. A loner is more dangerous than a pack. Yeah, bro. Like them fucking.
No, hey, you want to know who the hell to stay away from if you're out in freaking Africa? It's them hippos, man. They'll kill
them hippos wreck shit, bro. Them hippos wreck shit.
They're seriously dangerous. I saw one of this damn hippo chasing after. It was swimming and keeping up with it and chasing after the freaking boat. And the dude was like going fast. And the things, man, them things are dangerous, dude. They'll kill you.
All right, now we've reached the point where we're talking about fantasy fights with animals. That's my cue to go to bed. I will see. I'll let y'all on the next one.
All right, Jules. Have a good night. Thanks for having me on, brother.
All right.
Night, fellas.